Chapter 51. In the southern domain Wu's Chamber of Commerce, Wu Rolong was handling the affairs of the Wu's Chamber of Commerce. After 10 years of accumulation, Wu Rolong was successfully promoted to the early stage of Great Sage. After all, it was just a high-grade spiritual route, and being able to break through to the early stage of Great Saint within 10 years was already a very good thing. What a headache. Wu Rolong stretched and was still dealing with things when he received a telepathic message from his father Wu Hao. Go home quickly, your mother is back. After receiving the news, Wu Rolong was stunned for a moment, but soon stood up excitedly. What, mother is back? After learning the news, Wu Rolong gave up his work without hesitation and rushed home. After all, the Wu Chamber of Commerce was just set up for fun. If there was no successor yet, Wu Rolong would have quit long ago. After hearing the news, the Wu family members who were training in the southern domain all rushed back to the Wu family. Grandma So Kioran was one of the reasons, but the most important thing was that they had not seen the mysterious ancestor Wu Hao for a long time, so they naturally wanted to see what kind of person this ancestor who brought the Wu family to glory was. At this time, Wu Hao also brought So Kioran back to the Wu family. The Wu family that Wu Hao mentioned was naturally the Wu family where he and So Kioran lived in the deep mountains before. Wu Rolong and the others naturally knew about it, so after knowing that Wu Hao had brought So Kioran back, they all hurried to the Wu family deep in the mountains. When Wu Rolong returned to the Wu family, he saw Wu Hao and So Kioran sitting on the hanging chair hanging on the big tree in the yard. Both of them had nostalgia on their faces, and they missed the days when they lived here. Husband, do you still remember that you chased me first? Of course I remember. I originally planned to settle down near here, but I didn't expect to meet you unconscious in a river not far away, and then I brought you back. Wu Hao also thought of what happened at the beginning, and a smile appeared on his face. He still remembered that after he realized that his talent was mediocre, he came to this mountain to settle down, believing that peace is a blessing. But one day when he was out, he met So Kioran floating in the river. Without hesitation, Wu Hao rescued So Kioran, brought her back home and took good care of her. He also used his eloquence to successfully impress So Kioran and pursue her. So Kioran obviously thought of something, her face turned red, then she gently hit Wu Hao's arm and said, "What are you talking about? At first I thought you were a good person, but I didn't expect you to save me with bad intentions." Hey, if I didn't have bad intentions, how could I have the best wife in the entire profound heaven world? Wu Hao also echoed shamelessly, causing So Kioran to blush again. We don't know why So Kioran always blushes. But in the end, Wu Rolong, who was not far away, couldn't help it anymore, coughed and said, "Father." Wu Hao and So Kioran finally reacted. So Kioran's expression became extremely serious, but she looked at Wu Hao with resentment, as if to say, "It's all your fault that I made a fool of myself in front of the child." After both of them were back to normal, Wu Rolong brought Wu Kyunkan and others to the two of them. Looking at So Kioran who was sitting next to her father, Wu Rolong felt complicated. Wu Rolong always had hatred towards So Kioran in his heart. After all, because of So Kioran, he did not receive any maternal love in his childhood. Even after he knew that So Kioran left because she was afraid of being hunted down by her enemies and implicated them, the hatred was still there, just lessened a little. Originally, Wu Rolong had prepared himself not to forgive So Kioran when they met this time. However, when they met, Wu Rolong found that he simply could not bear to hate his mother. His eyes could not help but turn red. He looked at So Kioran and spoke with a slightly choked voice. "Daughter. Rolong, you have suffered a lot these years." So Kioran's eyes couldn't help but turn red. She stood up and hugged Wu Rolong in her arms. Wu Rolong couldn't help but choke up with sobs, which became more and more intense until he even burst into tears. Who could understand his suffering? Wu Hao only let him practice, and he also wanted maternal love. After crying for a long time in his mother's arms, Wu Rolong finally reacted, wiped his eyes and then spoke. "So you're back this time, are you still leaving?" "I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving this time. Everything is done. It's time for me to stay at home and look after my children." So Kioran's face was full of loving expression, which made Wu Rolong's heart tremble. Is this the legendary maternal love? But before Wu Rolong could say anything more, a strange phenomenon appeared in the Sunset City not far away, but it was suppressed by Wu Hao. So only Wu Rolong and others saw it. "My lord, what happened?" So Kioran's expression also became serious, and she looked at Wu Hao and asked curiously. Wu Hao said this with a hint of smile in his tone. It's nothing, it's just that a grandson was born, so it made a lot of noise. Wu Rolong then remembered something and spoke. By the way, today is the day that Wang Gu's wife is going to give birth. Hearing this, So Kioran's face also brightened. If she couldn't take care of the grandson, then let her take care of the crown prince. Thinking of this, So Kioran looked at Wu Hao and spoke. My dear husband, let's go back. It's a good opportunity to see what kind of person my grandson is. Wu Hao naturally had this plan. He waved his hand and took Wu Rolong and others back to the Wu family. At this time, Wu Quncan and others had gathered in the Wu family. They all knew the news of Wu Hao's return, and also knew that Wang Gu's wife was about to give birth, so they all planned to see what kind of person their nephew was. Father, Grandpa. After seeing Wu Rolong and Wu Hao coming in, Wu Quncan and others quickly stood up, their tone extremely respectful. After he finished speaking, Wu Quncan and the others saw So Kioran standing next to Wu Hao. They quickly guessed So Kioran's identity and hurriedly stepped forward to greet her. Grandmother. Hearing Wu Quncan and others calling her grandma, So Kioran still couldn't believe it. After all, she was less than 100 years old. Was it too early to be called a grandma? If it were for a mortal, this age might be reasonable, but she is a cultivator, and a great sage at the peak of her powers. But So Kioran quickly accepted the fact that the people in front of him were his grandchildren. After all, he had met his grandson in the vast secret realm before. Well, you are Quncan, Xianyuan, Wang Gu, and Qin Long, right? Except for Wu Wandao, Wu Tiancan, Wu Qishan, and Wu Shuiying who went to the other 4 regions, all the 3rd generations of the Wu family came here. As for the 4th generation, Wu Yifan was being hunted down at this time, and as for Wu Yida, he was gifted and entered a top force to become an apprentice. Chapter 52. While Wu Hao and others were anxiously waiting, the midwife soon came out holding a small and cute baby. Master, the head of the family, is a boy. The midwife handed the baby to Wu Wanggu's hands. Looking at the child in his arms, Wu Wanggu's heart was filled with emotion. It was obvious that he had not expected that he would become a father so soon. Wu Hao standing by had already scanned out his identity information as the Crown Prince. Name, Tentative Fate, Destiny Child, Immortal Emperor Reincarnation Talent, Low-grade Spiritual Root Constitution, Space-Time Divine Body. Note, this child is extremely stable, and his immortal weapon is lost. Looking at the panel of his grandson, Wu Hao's expression also became extremely solemn. In fact, talent is nothing to the son of destiny. Just like Han Heavenly Venerable who is admired by everyone, he was not favored by others at the beginning of cultivating immortals, but he became invincible later. Furthermore, as long as one is the child of destiny, the system will not look at talent, but directly give feedback a million times. Grandpa and Grandma, how about you give my son a name? Wu Wanggu came to Wu Hao and So Kioran with his son in his arms and asked in a very serious manner. After looking at his wife, Wu Hao suggested. Wife, since you are back, how about letting you choose the name of this grandson? Hearing this, So Kioran's eyes lit up and he nodded and agreed. He looked at the expression of the crown prince in front of him and thought seriously. After a long time, for some reason, a name appeared in his mind. Let's call him Wu Li. I hope he can rise like a big tree and have a smooth life. Is that so? Thank you Grandma for the name. Wu Wanggu spoke excitedly after hearing this, and then took his son from So Kioran's hands. But soon, Wu Wanggu felt something and looked at Wu Hao with a serious expression. Grandpa, I can feel that there seems to be a strong power in Lier's body. What is this power? After hearing what Wu Wanggu said, everyone looked at Wu Hao. Wu Hao thought for a while before speaking. Yes, your perception is correct. Wu Li does have a special physique. His special physique is the legendary divine body of time and space. It is said that if one cultivates it to a high level, he can control the 2 great daos of time and space. Upon hearing that his son had such a terrifying physique, Wu Wanggu was stunned at first, but soon became ecstatic. After all, the offspring of his eldest and second brothers both have such horrible physiques. If his own son doesn't have it, wouldn't it be embarrassing for him? As for talent, although Wu Wanggu knew that his son only had a low-grade spiritual root, the current Wu family had no shortage of resources. Didn't his 4th brother Wu Qinlong also have a low-grade spiritual root? However, with the Wu family's crazy investment of resources, he was able to advance from low-grade spiritual roots to high-grade spiritual roots. Note: improving the quality of spiritual roots can also change the feedback multiplier of the system. Under Wu Hao's strong advocacy, no one in the Wu family has low-grade spiritual roots now, and even those with middle-grade spiritual roots are pitifully rare. Wang Wu, how about letting me take care of your son? Looking at the cute and small Wu Li in front of her, a gentle glow appeared on So Ki-oran's face. After all, she was already a grandmother, even a great-grandmother, and had never taken care of a child, but now she had a ready-made one. So Ki-oran, who lacked experience in taking care of children, naturally wanted to experience this kind of thing. Upon hearing this, Wu Wanggu was stunned at first, but soon agreed excitedly. Grandma, we agreed. Although I don't know what realm my grandmother is at, but considering my grandfather's strength, as a woman who can conquer my grandmother's strength is definitely not simple. Besides, Grandma is not taking her own son back to the central region. He can visit the Wu family anytime he wants. You should know that even Wu Yifan and Wu Yida, these two monsters, were not brought up by their grandfather. They only asked their grandfather for guidance after they were old enough to practice. In comparison, my son is now being raised by his grandmother, so it goes without saying who is stronger and who is weaker. As for Wu Wanggu's wife, although she was a little reluctant after knowing this, she still nodded and agreed. If her son grew up with So Ki-oran, he would be able to go higher and further in the future. As for Wu Hao's words, he didn't have any objection, as long as the little guy didn't affect him and his wife's practice of baby-making techniques. However, according to Wu Hao's current situation, Wu Hao estimated that even if he and his wife fought for 100 years, they might not be able to conceive. After all, according to the immortal law, the more powerful the being, the more difficult it is to conceive offspring. Now that I am already a red dust immortal, and my wife is about to break through to the Saint King, under normal circumstances, a red dust immortal would not be with a Saint King. In short, whether you can get pregnant now really depends on luck. After Wu Li was born, Wu Hao took a look at the current Wu family. The Wu family is still in Sunset City as a whole, but the scale of Sunset City can no longer accommodate the current Wu family. Even if Suan, his first in-laws, had received help from the Wu family in recent years, he had only broken through to the peak of soul formation. Originally, this was a realm that Suan would never dare to ask for in his life, but after becoming Wu Hao's in-laws, everything was like a dream. Got it. Okay, next, let's relocate the entire Wu family. Sunset City is too small now and can't accommodate our Wu family. Wu Hao looked at Wu Rolong and others and said that over the years Wu Quncan and others had given birth to other children one after another, but it seemed as if their luck had disappeared. However, it made sense that parents who could give birth to a child of destiny needed a very strong destiny. It was already a very good thing for Wu Quncan and others to give birth to a child of destiny. And because of the existence of Wu Hao, the Wu family can have 3 or even more than 3 sons of destiny in the future. I'm getting off topic. Anyway, the current population of the Wu family has exceeded 3 digits. If they continue to stay in Sunset City, it will only limit the development of the Wu family. After hearing Wu Hao's words, Wu Rolong spoke. That's right, father. I wanted to say this just now. Our Wu family should indeed move to another place now. After all, this was the place where Wu Hao settled the Wu family before he went to the central region to bring So Ki-oran back. So Wu Rolong did not move the Wu family to another place for all these years, just waiting for Wu Hao to make the decision. Wu Hao nodded and looked around. In an instant, the entire southern domain environment appeared in his mind. Wu Hao is now at the peak of Red Dust Immortal's strength, so it would be very easy for him to explore the southern domain. As for the lack of spiritual energy, that is not within Wu Hao's consideration. After all, Wu Hao had some attainments in formation, so setting up a small spirit gathering formation was extremely easy for him. Soon, Wu Hao found a place that was more suitable for the Wu family to settle down. Okay, I've found a place, let me go over and get ready. Before anyone knew what Wu Hao meant, he had already disappeared. But they will soon know what Wu Hao means. Chapter 53. Yes, what a layout of 9 dragons worshipping the mountain. At this time, Wu Hao had already arrived at the forbidden land of Jinmi in the southern domain. He looked at the mountain in front of him and nodded with satisfaction. In front of Wu Hao, 9 mountain ranges stretching for thousands of miles appeared, and at the end of these 9 mountains stood a mountain as high as 1,000,000 meters. From a distance, the 9 mountains looked like 9 dragons lying on the ground. The million-meter-high mountain seemed to be receiving the worship of 9 dragons, and looked extremely majestic and huge. Seeing this kind of terrain, Wu Hao's heart couldn't help but move slightly, and a trace of his aura accidentally leaked out. But at this moment, a huge figure appeared silently behind Wu Hao, opened its bloody mouth and bit towards Wu Hao. If an ordinary supreme was suddenly attacked, he would not be able to react in time and would be torn into pieces. But Wu Hao did not move at all. As soon as a thought came to his mind, a sharp edge shot out from his body, and in an instant he killed the behemoth behind him that was big enough to swallow the entire Sunset City in one gulp. When the other party was dying, his eyes were full of disbelief. It was obvious that he had not expected that tiny humans could have such powerful strength. Looking at the huge monster falling behind him, Wu Hao couldn't help but frown. In fact, he knew something about the Forbidden Land of Ashes. Every domain had a Forbidden Land. The Forbidden Land in the northern domain was called the Forbidden Land of Swallowing Frost, the Forbidden Land in the western domain was called the Forbidden Land of Dusk, the Forbidden Land in the central domain was called the Forbidden Land of Eternal Night, the Forbidden Land in the eastern domain was called the Forbidden Land of Devouring Souls, and the Forbidden Land in the southern domain was called the Forbidden Land of Ashes. It is said that places that can be called forbidden areas are not dared to be entered easily even by figures at the Saint Lord level. Wu Hao experienced this deeply after he broke through to the Red Dust Immortal level. After breaking through to the Red Dust Immortal, Wu Hao finally got a clear glimpse of the situation inside the 5 forbidden areas. Not to mention a quasi-emperor, even a great emperor would be at great risk of dying if he entered there. But for Wu Hao, it was nothing. The matter of the 5 forbidden areas might be very tricky or even unsolvable for the creatures of the entire profound heaven world, but for Wu Hao, it was just a little troublesome. If it wasn't for finding a suitable place for the Wu family to relocate, Wu Hao probably wouldn't have come to the Jinmi Forbidden Land. Well, let's solve the trouble in the Forbidden Land of Jinmi first. This terrain is definitely the best choice for the Wu family. With my formation, I'm afraid it will ensure that my Wu family will last forever. Thinking of this, Wu Hao began to act. With Wu Hao's strength, he could walk around freely in the current profound heaven world. If Wu Hao wanted to hide, even the existence of the same Red Dust Immortal would not be able to discover Wu Hao's existence. Just now, it was because I saw the terrain of 9 dragons paying homage to the mountain that my emotions leaked out, and I was noticed by the ferocious beasts in the forbidden area. Without further ado, Wu Hao continued to wander in the Forbidden Land of Cinders and soon arrived at the center of the Forbidden Land of Cinders. There was a huge mountain standing in the center of the Forbidden Land of Ashes, and on the top of the mountain there were countless light black gases slowly falling down and spreading towards the entire Forbidden Land of Ashes. Feeling this gas, Wu Hao's expression became extremely solemn. In his perception, the forbidden area appeared because this gas spread to the surrounding area of 1 million miles. After inhaling this gas, ordinary creatures will quickly lose consciousness and will want to kill any living creature they see. The creature that just ambushed Wu Hao was a creature contaminated by this unknown gas. According to Wu Hao's perception, even a transcending tribulation level expert could not survive a day in this gas, and even a saint level expert could be contaminated. But it was nothing to Wu Hao, and they couldn't even get within 1 meter around Wu Hao. Just like that, Wu Hao came to the top of the mountain with the mysterious gas, and saw a huge hole on the top of the mountain. Wu Hao jumped down without any hesitation. He had figured out the situation inside before coming in, so naturally he wasn't worried that he wouldn't be able to resolve the situation himself. Soon, Wu Hao came to the center of the pit and saw a black bead floating on the ground. Waves of light black gas spread out from the black bead and polluted the entire forbidden area. Seeing this, Wu Hao stepped forward and was about to put the black bead into the storage ring, but just as Wu Hao was about to put it away, the system's voice rang out. Ding! The bead in front of you is detected to be the opportunity of the Child of Destiny. Host, please do not interfere. Unexpectedly, the long-lost system suddenly came back to life. After hearing what the system said, Wu Hao was stunned for a moment, then asked with a frown. System, you said this bead is the opportunity for the Child of Destiny? What does this mean? Ding, literally. Hearing this, Wu Hao was silent for a moment, and then he decided not to intervene again. After all, he could get rid of the beads in front of him, but if it affected the path of his descendants, he would be the one who suffered in the end. It would be better to let his descendants, the Son of Destiny, solve this matter. Moreover, Wu Hao could feel that the 5 forbidden areas became forbidden areas because of the appearance of this bead. Even for the Great Emperor, it would be extremely dangerous to enter. Forget it. If that's the case, then let my juniors solve this problem. I don't know which junior will solve it. Wu Hao shook his head and then disappeared into the forbidden area. As for the new Wu family, Wu Hao found a layout slightly inferior to the 9 dragons worshipping the mountain in the Jinmi forbidden area. Soon Wu Hao returned to the Wu family and took Wu Rolong to the place he found. He ordered Wu Rolong to complete the construction of the new Wu family as soon as possible. After seeing the towering mountains in front of him, Wu Rolong quickly nodded and agreed. With the current power of the Wu Chamber of Commerce, as long as Wu Rolong wants to, it will not be a problem to create a new holy land. Wu Hao can create the Emperor weapon, so Wu Rolong has been looking for materials that can be used to create the Emperor weapon over the years, so that their Wu family can have their own Emperor weapon as soon as possible. Wu Rolong also didn't want their Wu family to rely on his father to solve problems all day long. As long as they had Emperor weapon, their Wu family would no longer have to worry about any Holy Land level forces, even if Wu Hao was not around one day. After returning to the Wu family, Wu Hao also added So Kioran to the family group. Now only people of the 4th generation and above can enter the family group, and descendants of the 5th generation and below cannot enter this family group. After Wu Hao pulled So Kioran in, Wu Yifan, who was still training outside, and Wu Yida, who had joined a top force, both sent out messages out of curiosity. Wu Yifan, you are welcome to join the group chat, but I am being hunted now, please don't cue me. Wu Yida, hello, Grandma. I'm Wu Yida. I'm practicing in Tianwu Mountain now. Wait for me. I'll be home to see you soon. Wu Suan, welcome Grandma to join the group. So Kioran, hello everyone, I am So Kioran, the wife of your ancestor Wu Hao. P.S. The author promises that for every additional $1,000, 2 more chapters will be added, with no upper limit. Chapter 54. In Tianwu Mountain, Wu Yida was practicing in his own dojo. After being kicked out of the Wu family, Wu Yida headed towards the central region while gaining experience along the way. It was not known whether it was due to good luck or great strength, but Wu Yida did not encounter any danger along the way, and he successfully arrived in the central region and joined the top force, Tianwu Mountain. Although Tianwu Mountain is not as powerful as Wanhua Holy Land, it only lacks the Emperor weapon. If it does not have the Emperor weapon, Wanhua Holy Land may not be a match for Tianwu Mountain. Especially the leader of Tianwu Mountain, Wu Shenna, was known as the #1 person under the Great Emperor. He was invincible in defeating all quasi-emperors and set a terrifying record of fighting 2 quasi-emperors at the peak of their power alone without losing the upper hand. As for why he didn't join one of the 4 Holy Lands, it was because the 4 Holy Lands only opened their sects and accepted disciples once every 10 years, and Wu Yida was not among them. He had no choice but to join Tianwu Mountain. Anyway, apart from Emperor weapon, Tianwu Mountain was actually much more powerful than Wanhua Holy Land. Because he possessed a chaotic body and superb spiritual roots, after arriving at Tianwu Mountain to participate in the disciple-taking ceremony, Wu Yida caused a sensation among all the strong men in Tianwu Mountain, and was directly accepted by the martial saint as his personal disciple. Wu Yida did not disappoint Wu Shenna. Before he joined Tianwu Mountain, he had already reached the peak of the nascent soul realm. After just 10 years, he had already broken through to the terrifying peak of the saint realm. He was only 1 step away from being promoted to a great sage. After breaking through to the peak of the saint realm, Wu Yida slowly stood up and muttered to himself. Now that I have reached the peak of the saint realm, I am only 2 realms away from breaking through to the saint king realm. By then, the Chaos Sutra of the Great Emperor will not be enough to support me. I have to go back home to seek help from my great-grandfather. Thinking of this, Wu Yida took a step down, disappeared in the dojo, and soon arrived in front of Wu Shenna's dojo. Master, I am here to see you. When Wu Yida finished speaking, a voice that sounded slightly old came from behind the closed door of the dojo. Yes, come in. As the words fell, the door slowly opened and an old man with grey hair, but with an aura that was incredibly strong just by looking at him, was the leader of Tianwu Mountain, Wu Shenna. After coming in, Wu Yida did not hesitate and went straight to the point and stated his purpose. Master, I have something important to do and need to go home. Hearing this, Wu Shenna frowned, and spoke after a long time. You have been practicing in Tianwu Mountain for a long time. It is time for you to go down and take a look. You can practice better if you relax properly. However, the momentum you brought to Tianwu Mountain that day was extremely huge. If you rashly go down the mountain, you may attract the attention of hostile forces. Hearing Wu Shenna's words, Wu Yida's expression couldn't help but become solemn. He naturally knew what Wu Shenna was talking about, but he had his reasons for going. Thinking of this, Wu Yida sighed, his face serious and his tone firm. Master, I have reasons to go back. If I cannot go back, I am afraid my cultivation will be greatly affected. Wu Yida said so. How could Wu Shenna refuse? He could only agree and gave him a lot of life-saving things, so that he could resist even if he met a quasi-emperor late-stage strongman. And just after Wu Yida left, Wu Shenna specially dispatched a quasi-emperor late-stage level ancestor to protect Wu Yida in secret. After all, Wu Yida was the most talented disciple of their Tianwu mountain. If Wu Yida grew up, their Tianwu mountain would also prosper. And the situation was just as Wu Shenna had expected. Not long after the news of Wu Yida's going down the mountain spread, the hostile forces in Tianwu mountain got the news and gathered together for the first time. After all, when Wu Yida became a disciple, his talent shocked many forces in the central region. It can be said that if Wu Shenna had not protected him, Wu Yida would have been abducted by other forces long ago to eliminate future troubles. But even so, after so much time, they still have not given up their evil intentions. Tell me, what are your plans? The day before Wu Yida went down the mountain, the hostile forces of Tianwu mountain, led by Pomo Valley, gathered all the hostile forces of Tianwu mountain together, and the target of discussion was naturally Wu Yida. After all, if Wu Yida is allowed to grow up, then Tianwu mountain, which originally suppressed them, will become even more powerful, and they will never be able to stand out. Humph, what else can we do? We can't do anything to that kid in Tianwu mountain, where he is under the protection of Wu Shenna. But if that kid leaves Tianwu mountain, will we still be unable to do anything to him? A sturdy man with a naked upper body and scars all over his back said this with a ferocious look on his face. He also had 2 golden long swords on his back. He was Dao Hao Huang, the leader of the Golden Sword sect, one of the top forces. Hearing this, the others couldn't help but nodded. If they could kill Wu Yida, they would naturally be more than happy to do so. There is a sect protection formation in Tianwu mountain. Even if they attack together, they cannot break the sect protection formation, let alone kill Wu Yida. Now that there is a chance, then of course we must seek to kill him with one blow. Otherwise, next time Wu Yida will be on guard and probably won't come out so easily. But at this moment, Mo Kunran, the employer of Pomo Valley, spoke. What you can think of, that old fellow Wu Shenna must have also thought of, so this time Wu Yida must be surrounded by many strong men to protect him. Maybe that old fellow Wu Shenna will personally protect Wu Yida. Impossible. Wu Shenna is the only one in the entire Tianwu mountain who can activate the sect protection formation. And according to my understanding, Wu Shenna cannot leave Tianwu mountain either. So Wu Shenna will definitely leave Tianwu mountain with Wu. The leader of the Green Snake sect, Shi Wuxin, shook his head decisively and said. Hearing this, everyone thought of something, and their eyes lit up. These top forces only had one quasi-emperor peak powerhouse. If Wu Shenna could not leave Tianwu mountain, didn't it mean that at most only a quasi-emperor late-stage powerhouse could protect Wu Shenna this time? Thinking of this, Mo Kunran said slowly. In order to kill the holy son of Tianwu mountain, I, Pomo Valley, am willing to dispatch a quasi-emperor late-stage patriarch. My Golden Sword sect is also willing to send out a quasi-emperor late-stage patriarch. Green Snake sect, same as above. Soon, the leaders of the 5 top forces present agreed that each force would send a quasi-emperor late-stage ancestor, a total of 5 quasi-emperor late-stage ancestors to kill Wu Yida. You know, if Wu Yida knew about such a luxurious lineup, he would probably be very surprised, and then choose to stay in Tianwu mountain and let his great-grandfather come in person. But unfortunately Wu Yida couldn't do that, because he was about to reach the bottleneck of the Chaos Sutra, the Saint King. On the one hand, he went back to the Wu family to see his great-grandmother, and on the other hand, he wanted to ask his great-grandfather if he had any remaining Chaos Sutra. After planning the plan against Wu Yida, the leaders of the other 4 forces soon returned to their respective forces. As for Mo Kunran, he turned around and came to the forbidden area of Pomo Valley. Deep in the forbidden area of Pomo Valley stood a cultivator covered in a black robe. If Wu Yifan were here, he would definitely recognize that the clothing in front of him was the symbol of the Blood Soul Sex Envoy. It's just that the aura of the Blood Soul Sex Envoy standing in front of Mo Kunran has only reached the peak of the Quasi-Emperor. Looking at the messenger in front of him, Mo Kunran's expression was solemn and he spoke. If I sacrifice 5 late-stage quasi-emperors and add a chaos body, can it really help me break through to Great Emperor? Hehehe, that's natural. As long as you can become a member of my Blood Soul sect, let alone become a Great Emperor, even if you break through to become a Red Dust Immortal, what's wrong with that? A cold aura emanated from the Blood Soul sect's messenger. Although they were at the same realm, for some reason, Mo Kyunran felt a heavy threat from the other party. If he took action, he would definitely not be his opponent. Chapter 55. Mo Kyunran is now 500,000 years old. If he does not break through to the Great Emperor, he will die in another 100,000 years due to the exhaustion of his lifespan. At this time, a person who claimed to be the messenger of the Blood Soul sect came to him and promised to help him break through to the Great Emperor, but the condition was that he had to find a way to lure out 5 late-stage quasi-emperors, plus a person with a special physique. If a man does not work for himself, he will be punished by heaven and earth. Mo Kyunran would not let go of even the slightest possibility of breaking through the Great Emperor, so he could only agree. It was for this reason that Mo Kyunran planned everything personally, and the Blood Soul sect messenger had secretly listened to everything that had just happened. By the way, why are you so sure that I will agree? Remembering something, Mo Kyunran looked at the Blood Soul sect's messenger, wanting to get an answer from him. After all, Mo Kyunran felt it when they first met that the other party had a very strong self-confidence and was not worried at all that he would be rejected. The Blood Soul sect's messenger sneered. Hehehe, your lifespan is about to run out. You can't miss any possibility of breaking through to the Great Emperor, even if there is only a trace of it. We in the Blood Soul sect will not act rashly. We have investigated before and only came to you. And it doesn't matter even if you refuse. After all, there are many quasi-emperors in the entire profound heaven world who are eager to break through to the Great Emperor. If you don't do it, there are quasi-emperors who will do it. After hearing what the other party said, Mo Kyunran's expression became extremely ugly, but he was unable to refute. Indeed, according to his understanding of other peak quasi-emperors, if the opportunity to break through to the Great Emperor is placed in front of them, they will not necessarily refuse even if it means sacrificing the blood of their relatives in the sect. This is what immortals are like. As long as there is a chance, they will move forward regardless of the consequences. By the way, I have to remind you that it's not 5 quasi-emperors late stage anymore, it's 6. The Blood Soul sect's messenger remembered something and gave a reminder. What? You're even thinking about the people from my demon-breaking valley. Mo Kyunran had an extremely ugly expression. He didn't expect that even he, the quasi-emperor late stage of Po-Mo Valley, was being targeted. The Blood Soul sect's messenger came to Mo Kyunran, patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile. It's okay. After you break through to the Great Emperor, you can have as many late-stage quasi-emperor as you want. And now you can't refuse, right? Call. Mo Kyunran took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. Indeed, as long as he broke through to the Great Emperor, he would no longer have any rivals in the entire profound heaven world, except for the mysterious Blood Soul sect. Thinking of this, Mo Kyunran couldn't help but look at the Blood Soul sect's envoy with a bit of fear in his eyes. But this did not affect the progress of the plan, and soon the day came when Wu Yida left Tianwu Mountain and returned home. Don't worry, Ancestor. I will definitely protect the Holy Sun. As long as I am alive, nothing will happen to the Holy Sun. Under the dispatch of Wu Shenna, a quasi-emperor late-stage ancestor named Chen Wushuan from Tianwu Mountain secretly followed Wu Yida. Wu Shenna stood on the top of Tianwu Mountain and sighed helplessly as he watched Wu Yida leave. For some reason, he always felt a vague sense of uneasiness in his heart, as if something was about to happen. I hope Yida can be successful this time. With my skills and the protection of Elder Wushuan, even a quasi-emperor at the peak of his powers may not be able to hurt Yida. On the other side, in the Wu family, Wu Xianyuan, who was in seclusion trying to reach the Saint Realm, felt uneasy and had to quickly withdraw from his cultivation. What's going on? Why do I always feel like something bad is going to happen? Wu Xianyuan was feeling anxious and uneasy. This feeling was very depressing and made him feel very uncomfortable. Soon Wu Xianyuan came out of seclusion and saw his wife Li Yulong standing in front of his cave mansion. Li Yulong's face was full of uneasiness at this time. After seeing Wu Xianyuan, the uneasiness became even stronger. When she came in front of Wu Xianyuan, she couldn't help but speak. Husband, I feel very uncomfortable in my heart. It feels like something bad is going to happen. After hearing what his wife said, Wu Xianyuan and Li Yulong looked at each other, and without hesitation, they rushed towards their grandfather Wu Hao. Soon the two arrived in front of Wu Hao's yard, and saw that in the yard at this time, Wu Hao was looking at So Qior and teasing the crown prince Wu Li with a doting look on his face. The two of them couldn't care less at this moment. They came to Wu Hao and told him about this matter. Hearing this, Wu Hao's expression became a little solemn. Wu Yida is the son of destiny, and it is normal for him to encounter some disasters in his life, but nothing will happen under normal circumstances. However, Wu Xianyuan and Li Yulong do not know this. They are just parents who are concerned about the safety of their child. Thinking of this, Wu Hao sighed and said, "It's okay, I'll go take a look." Hearing that their grandfather could help, Wu Xianyuan and Li Yulong finally breathed a sigh of relief, and their worries were reduced a lot. Since grandpa has taken action, his son should be fine. When he was still in the central region, Wu Hao knew that Wu Yida was practicing on Tianwu Mountain. It was not that Wu Hao wanted to pay special attention to him. Wu Hao was now at the peak of the red dust immortal level and was only one step away from breaking through to the true immortal level. The range of his spiritual sense was too large, so he could find out with just a little investigation. So after knowing that Wu Yida might be in danger, Wu Hao rushed directly towards Tianwu Mountain. On the other side, Wu Yida had already encountered the 5 quasi-emperors late stage of the demon-breaking valley. Looking at the 5 quasi-emperors late stage who appeared in front of him with ill intentions, Wu Yida's expression looked extremely ugly. He didn't expect that he just went down the mountain and went out, but he could actually attract 5 quasi-emperors late stage to attack him. You have to know that he is only at the peak of the Saint Realm. Just when Wu Yida was thinking about how to deal with this matter, a figure appeared in front of him and shouted at him. "Go, Holy Son, leave this to me. Ancestor Wushuan, why are you here?" The moment the other party appeared, Wu Yida recognized him. His face changed slightly and he said with some surprise. But Chen Wushuan didn't say much at this time. He just said, "There's no time to explain. You go first," and then he killed the 5 quasi-emperors late-stage powerhouses. Wu Yida gritted his teeth upon seeing this, then turned and fled towards Tianwu Mountain. He knew that if he stayed, he would only bring a burden to Elder Wushuan. If he escaped cleanly, perhaps he could give Elder Wushuan a glimmer of hope. But just as Wu Yida turned around to escape, several blood-red beams of light rose from the ground around them, instantly forming a scarlet cage that surrounded them. Chapter 56. Damn it, have you been planning this from the beginning? Chen Wushuan looked at the scene in front of him, then looked at the 5 quasi-emperors late-stage powerhouses in front of him, and his expression couldn't help but become ugly. But what Chen Wushuan didn't expect was that the 5 quasi-emperors late-stage powerhouses on the opposite side also looked at each other in bewilderment. That's not right. This scene was not mentioned in the script. However, the 5 of them all tacitly believed that it must be the work of the opposing force. It can only be said that in order to successfully kill the Saint Son of Tianwu Mountain here, no mistakes can be made. But soon, their expressions changed. That was not right. If they were trying to kill Wu Yida, then why did they feel that their blood and energy were being drained away? And it was not just their blood and energy. Something is wrong. Why is my own blood and energy being drained? Who set up this formation? The ancestor of the Golden Sword sect had an extremely ugly expression and spoke angrily. The others couldn't help but speak up. It's not the work of our Green Snake sect. How could it be possible that it was caused by my Hehuan sect? Check it out. My power is being drained away now. It wasn't made by my Iron Puppet sect either. Everyone couldn't help but look at the ancestor of Pomo Valley, but at this moment the ancestor of Pomo Valley, Mo Liangzin, also had an ugly expression. Without much thought, the other 4 people could naturally guess that they were probably being tricked. At this moment, the Blood Soul Sect's messenger appeared from the darkness, clapping his hands. He, not bad, you finally took the bait. When they saw the Blood Soul Sect's envoy suddenly appear, the Golden Sword Sect's ancestors and others quickly guessed that the current situation was probably caused by the other party. When he saw Mo Qunren standing next to the Blood Soul Sect's messenger, Mo Liangzin's face was full of disbelief and he said in shock. Valley Master, what are you going to do? Mo Qunren's expression was dull, and he had no intention of explaining. Or perhaps he was feeling extremely guilty and did not dare to speak in front of the elders of his own sect. But the Blood Soul Sect messenger on the side spoke very enthusiastically and sneered. He, can't you see? Your valley master is selling you out for a chance to break through to the great emperor. Upon hearing this, Mo Liangzhen and the others had expressions of disbelief on their faces. At this moment, Chen Wuxuan spoke, his tone full of uncontrollable ridicule. Interesting, I didn't expect that you were originally planning to attack the Holy Sun but were sold out by others. As Chen Wuxuan spoke, Hehuan Sek's ancestor Li Suhuan changed his tone and spoke. Let's join forces. If we don't join forces now, I'm afraid we won't be able to escape later. Hearing this, Chen Wuxuan was silent for a long time before he spoke. Okay, I can join forces with you, but I need you to swear an oath to the Heavenly Dao that you will not attack me and the Holy Sun from now on. Otherwise, we will die together. After hearing what Chen Wuxuan said, Mo Liangzhen and others were so angry that they gnashed their teeth and said that Chen Wuxuan was taking advantage of someone's misfortune. But now it was obvious that they had no other choice except to join forces with Chen Wuxuan. Although Chen Wuxuan is at the same late stage of quasi-emperor as them, his strength is much stronger than theirs, at least equal to that of two late-stage quasi-emperors. With Chen Wuxuan joining them, their chances of getting out alive would be greater. As for Mo Liangzhen, he became disillusioned with the Demon Valley after being stabbed in the back by his own valley master, so he made the heavenly oath without hesitation. Seeing that they had all sworn to heaven, Chen Wuxuan no longer hesitated and joined forces with them to kill the Blood Soul Sex Messenger and Mo Kunran. But after watching this scene, the Blood Soul Sex Messenger sneered, called it interesting, and snapped his fingers. In an instant, the power of the formation increased, directly suppressing Chen Wuxuan and others to the ground. What? The power of the formation is so strong. The green snake sex ancestor, Snake Spirit, opened his pupils wide and said in disbelief. The formation alone is enough to suppress them, not to mention the Blood Soul Sex Envoy and Mo Kunran. Seeing that his ancestors and others were suppressed, Mo Kunran spoke up to remind them. Don't forget what you promised me. He did so much just to break through to the Great Emperor. If he couldn't break through to the Great Emperor, he would really go crazy. The Blood Soul Sect messenger sneered. Don't worry, this messenger will naturally remember this matter. Hearing the words of the Blood Soul Sex messenger, Mo Kunran nodded. When he was about to say something, he felt a sharp pain the next second. He lowered his head and looked with disbelief in his eyes. I saw a hand emitting dark black energy piercing through my chest. Why? Mo Kunran turned around and looked at the Blood Soul Sex Envoy in disbelief. Although he couldn't see the Blood Soul Sex Envoy's face clearly, he could tell that the expression on his face must be extremely happy. He, you don't really think that I can help you break through to the Great Emperor, do you? Don't be silly. You can't break through to the Great Emperor with the blood energy of 6 quasi-emperors at the late stage. The most important thing is your blood primer of the quasi-emperor peak stage. Hearing the words of the Blood Soul Sex messenger, Mo Kunran's eyes were filled with anger and he roared. Damn it! How dare you lie to me? If that's the case, then let's do it together. Before Mo Kunran could finish his words, he was torn into pieces by the Blood Soul Sex messenger. Countless horrifying blood energy was attracted by the formation and gathered at the top center of the formation, where a blood-red pill was slowly taking shape. Watching this scene, Mo Liangzhen and the others had expressions of disbelief on their faces. It was obvious that they had not expected that a strong man like Mo Kunran would be killed by a sneak attack. But even so, Mo Kunran was an absolute peak quasi-emperor. At this moment, they were already filled with despair in their hearts. After all, judging from the current situation, unless a powerful person passing by discovered the clues here and took action, they would not be able to survive. At this time, the powerful man Wu Hao, who happened to pass by, had also appeared outside the formation. Looking inside the formation, Wu Hao fell into deep thought. Obviously he also saw the situation inside, but he was a little curious. As a transmigrator and with a system hanging on the wall, it should be impossible for him to be calculated by the way of heaven. If that's the case, how should Wu Yida, the son of destiny, survive? While Wu Hao was curious, he noticed that there was a figure not far away attacking here. Behind that figure were 3 quasi-emperor strongmen chasing him. It was Wu Yifan who was being hunted. Chapter 57. Damn it, I just accidentally peeked at your saint girl bathing, is it necessary to chase me all the way? Wu Yifan looked at the 3 early quasi-emperor warriors who were chasing him relentlessly from behind, his face full of helplessness. After hearing his words, the three early quasi-emperor warriors behind Wu Yifan could no longer suppress the anger on their faces. "Stop right there, kid. Come back with us and apologize to our saint. Maybe we can spare your life." "Stop. If you don't stop, we will really kill you." Hearing their words, Wu Yifan's thoughts couldn't help but go back to a period of time ago. At that time, he happened to be traveling to the northern territory, and when passing by a mountain, he accidentally saw the holy maiden Lin Zixin of the Rao Shui Holy Land bathing in the wild. Why would a saint from a holy land have to bathe in the wild? Even if she was bathing, she should have taken at least some safety measures. But actually Wu Yifan had misunderstood, because that area was the area of the Rao Shui Holy Land, and ordinary people could not enter at all. It was only a coincidence that Wu Yifan was able to enter. What happened next was that the holy maiden of Rao Shui Holy Land discovered Wu Yifan, and then shouted, "Die, you scoundrel!" Wu Yifan was in the wrong and ran away, and was finally chased by three early quasi-emperor warriors. Wu Yifan can now be called invincible in the supreme realm, but he is still powerless against the quasi-emperor, so he can only be forced to flee, and then he is chased all the way from the northern realm to the central realm. Just when Wu Yifan was thinking about how to get out of this situation, he heard his great-grandfather's voice. "Yifan! Grandpa, is that you?" When Wu Yifan heard Wu Hao's voice, his eyes lit up. If his great-grandfather was here, he would be safe. "Yes, it's great-grandfather. Now great-grandfather has a way to help you get out of this situation. Go in that direction. Your cousin is in danger and has been attacked by a demonic cultivator. As long as you lead the three of them to your cousin, they will naturally give up on you and attack the three demonic cultivators." Hearing this, Wu Yifan's eyes lit up, and then he quickly moved in the direction Wu Hao said. Wu Hao just watched this scene but did not intervene. He knew in his heart that both the righteous and evil cultivators in Profound Heaven World were extremely hostile to each other, not to mention that the Blood Soul Sex Envoy was planning to break through to the Great Emperor. As long as the three elders of Rao Shui Holy Land saw this scene, they would definitely take action against the Blood Soul Sex Envoy. At that time, with the addition of Mo Liangzhen and others, the Blood Soul Sex Envoy would have no choice but to flee in disgrace. Soon, Wu Yifan followed the guidance of his great-grandfather Wu Hao and came to the vicinity of the formation. Although the Blood Soul Sex Messenger had set up camouflage here so that the surroundings looked no different, in fact, a quasi-emperor only needed to investigate carefully to detect the existence of the formation. Because of his identity as the Son of Destiny, Wu Yifan was much stronger than the cultivators of the same realm, so after some investigation he felt something was wrong here and quickly hid nearby. At the moment when Wu Yifan hid, the three quasi-emperor early-stage elders of the Rao Shui Holy Land also came here. After searching everywhere and finding no trace of Wu Yifan, their expressions couldn't help but frown. If Wu Yifan was not brought back, I'm afraid the Saint Lady would vent her anger on them. Although they are elders in the early stage of quasi-emperor and have a high status in Rao Shui Holy Land, Saint Lin Zixin is the daughter of Saint Lord Lin Shuaru and they cannot afford to offend her. After a careful investigation, they finally discovered something was wrong here. "Humph, good boy, do you think you can escape our pursuit by setting up a formation here? Come out here." The three powerful early quasi-emperors suddenly attacked and bombarded the formation. Inside the formation at this moment, Chen Wushuan and the others looked pale. They could feel that if they continued like this, they would be refined in just a few minutes. At this moment, Wu Yida had already fainted, and the strength in his body was constantly dissipating. At the top of the formation, a pill was slowly taking shape, and it looked like it would be ready soon. He, once the Blood Emperor pill is refined, I will be able to break through to the Great Emperor. By then, the entire Profound Heaven World will submit to my Blood Soul Sect. Just when the Blood Soul Sect's emissary was immersed in the fantasy of the Blood Soul Sect ruling the Profound Heaven World, he felt an extremely terrifying energy fluctuation coming from outside the formation. What's going on? Before the Blood Soul Sect's messenger could react, the formation was broken the next second. What? The Blood Soul Gate messenger had a gloomy expression. He had never thought that someone could ruin his good deeds. He had clearly prepared everything, so why couldn't he break through to the Great Emperor? The three quasi-emperor elders of Rao Shui Holy Land were a little confused by the scene in front of them. That's not right. Aren't they chasing Wu Yifan? Why do they look like they are involved in some inexplicable incident? But before they could figure out what was happening, Mo Liangzhen and the others who were lying on the ground stood up, looked at the elders of Rao Shui Holy Land and spoke. "Thank you three fellow deists for your help. This one in front of us is a demon Dao monk. Please help us exorcise the demon. What, brother demon Dao? After hearing what Mo Liangzhen and others said, the elder of Rao Shui Holy Land's expression changed slightly. After looking at each other, they decided to join forces to deal with the Blood Soul sect envoy in front of them first. As for Wu Yifan, it would not be too late to hunt him down later. I think their saint is considerate and should understand them. Seeing 9 people attacking him, the Blood Soul sect messenger had an extremely ugly expression. If he was given time, the 9 people in front of him would definitely be killed by him. But the most important thing is that he has no time. He can feel that the leaders of the Golden Sword sect and other forces are rushing here not far away. After the formation was broken, the old man of the Golden Sword sect and others contacted their respective leaders. In other words, if the Blood Soul sect envoy stayed any longer, he would probably be left here. Looking at the half-finished Blood Emperor pill not far away, the Blood Soul sect's envoy gritted his teeth and didn't care about anything else. He decided to leave here first. Just wait, I will come back for revenge someday. After the Blood Soul sect messenger finished speaking, an extremely thick blood mist emanated from his body, blurring the vision of Chen Wushuan and others. When the blood mist disappeared, the Blood Soul sect's messenger and the half-finished Blood Emperor pill also disappeared. Chapter 58. Where is my holy son? Where did such a big holy son of mine go? Although he was very angry about the escape of the Blood Soul sect's messenger, Chen Wushuan soon realized what was happening to their family's holy son, such a big one. Just when Chen Wushuan was about to question Mo Liangzhen and others, Wu Hao's voice transmission appeared in his mind. Don't worry, Yida has already returned home. I am his ancestor. Hearing Wu Hao's voice transmission, Chen Wushuan couldn't help but gasp. He was a quasi-emperor in the late stage, but even so, he still couldn't sense the existence of other strong men. So how powerful was the ancestor of their holy son? He said, the saint son's talent is so terrifying, how could the family behind him be simple? According to the current situation, the saint son's ancestor is probably more powerful than the ancestor of their Tianwu mountain, and he is probably about to break through to the great emperor. Wu Hao, sorry, I'm about to break through to true immortal. However, after knowing that their holy son was in a safe state, Chen Wushuan felt relieved, then looked at Mo Liangzhen and others and spoke. Since this matter has been resolved, it would be best for me to leave first. The ancestors of the Golden Sword sect also glanced at Mo Liangzhen, and the deep meaning in their eyes was self-evident. Although this matter was caused by the leader of your Po-Mo Valley, you, as the ancestor of Po-Mo Valley, also have an unshirkable responsibility. In short, you, Po-Mo Valley, should take care of yourself. Mo Liangzhen naturally knew this, so after saying goodbye, he rushed back to the demon-breaking valley. What he prayed now was that Mo Kunran was the only one in the entire demon-breaking valley who did this. If there were other people involved in this matter, maybe they, the demon-breaking valley, would be accused of having secret dealings with demonic cultivator. By then, all the righteous sects in the entire profound heaven world would probably gang up on the demon-breaking valley, all wanting to get a piece of the pie from the demon-breaking valley, so before that, he had to make all preparations. After the Golden Sword sect's ancestor and others waited for a while, Dao Huang and others arrived at the scene. They were not late, just a few seconds later than Mo Liangzhen left. After arriving at the scene and learning about what had happened from their ancestor, they looked extremely unhappy. It was obvious that they had not expected that Mo Kunran would dare to plot against them. If Mo Kunran had not been killed by the Blood Soul sect's messenger, they would not have been able to resist attacking Mo Kunran. By the way, where's that guy Wu Yida? Did he kill him? Dao Huang and the others remembered something and looked at their ancestor to ask. Upon hearing this, the expressions of the Golden Sword sect's ancestors and others hesitated for a moment, but they still told the previous events. After hearing their ancestors' decision, Dao Huang and others were angry for a moment, but after thinking about it carefully, it seemed that they had no choice but to agree. After all, if Tianwu Mountain becomes powerful, it will not destroy them directly, but if demonic cultivator becomes powerful, it will really destroy them. Okay, let's leave it at that. Next time, I will never let Wu Yida escape. Dao Huang and the others said with a ferocious look on their faces. As for the elders of Rao Shui Holy Land, after seeing the Blood Soul sect's envoy escape, they turned around and rushed back to Rao Shui Holy Land. A demonic cultivator of the peak quasi-emperor level had appeared in the central region, and this matter must be reported to the Holy Land as soon as possible, otherwise it would be too late to take action after the other party became powerful. Moreover, they could vaguely smell a conspiracy in this incident. This demonic cultivator was trying to break through to the great emperor. By then, even if their holy land had the blessing of the emperor weapon, it might not be a match for the great emperor demonic cultivator. Although a quasi-emperor at the peak level with the help of emperor weapon has the combat power of an early great emperor, that is only in terms of combat power. In terms of endurance, a normal great emperor is still a little stronger. In other words, as long as the great emperor demonic cultivator wants, he can kill a saint lord level character. On the other side, Wu Yifan took Wu Yida away when no one noticed, and took the Blood Emperor pill with him. After all, the Blood Emperor pill looked very rare, and if he swallowed it, it would definitely be of great help to him. But when he got the Blood Emperor pill, Wu Yifan's face was filled with disappointment. He felt that the power contained in the Blood Emperor pill was extremely modeled and chaotic, and only the cultivators of the Blood Soul sect could absorb it. If he absorbs it, it will cause certain damage to his foundation. Although it can improve his realm, his foundation will be damaged, which is an act of forcing things to happen. Wu Yifan was not that kind of person, so he did not swallow the pill. At this moment, Wu Hao appeared in front of them. Great-grandfather. Wu Yifan spoke to Wu Hao, but it was inconvenient to salute because Wu Yida was still unconscious in his arms. Wu Hao nodded and then spoke. Give me that pill. Yes, great-grandfather. Although I don't know what my great-grandfather is here for, it's useless to me, so I might as well give it to him. After taking the pill, Wu Hao just took a look at it and then stuffed it into Wu Yida's mouth. Wu Yifan was stunned when he saw this scene. He didn't expect that his great-grandfather would give this pill to his cousin without saying anything. Didn't he know that the medicinal power of this pill was extremely modeled? As if he knew what Wu Yifan was thinking, Wu Hao smiled and said. It doesn't matter. Your cousin has a chaotic body. These modeled medicinal powers have no effect on him. As long as it is energy, your cousin can absorb it and use it for himself. After hearing his great-grandfather's words, Wu Yifan couldn't help but gasp. He didn't expect that his cousin actually possessed a horrible bug-level physique called Chaos Body. You know, Chaos Body is even more terrifying than his own ancient holy body. No, it seems that I need to work harder. Otherwise, if my cousin overtakes me, will I still have the face to be his cousin? The pride of being a cousin made Wu Yifan work harder and he vowed to become the best among the fourth generation of the Wu family. Grandfather, I won't go home for now. I will go home when I break through to the quasi-emperor level. Wu Yifan handed his cousin to Wu Hao, and then said seriously. After saying that, he was about to turn around and leave, but then he remembered something. He felt that it would be better for him to tell his great-grandfather about the Blood Soul sect. After all, the Blood Soul sect is more powerful than the Holy Land. Even if great-grandfather knew about it, he would probably be a little afraid. Wu Hao, oh, yes, yes, yes. Originally, Wu Yifan thought that Wu Hao would be shocked after knowing about the Blood Soul sect, but he didn't expect that his great-grandfather would act as if it was all expected, which made Wu Yifan a little hurt. Well, that's your business, and it's a problem you should solve. But if you ask, I can help you get rid of the Blood Soul sect, but the prerequisite is that you ask. Wu Hao looked at Wu Yifan and spoke seriously, making people subconsciously believe that Wu Hao could really do what he said, including Wu Yifan. But Wu Yifan shook his head with a firm expression. No need, great-grandfather. Just let me handle this matter. The Blood Soul sect will only become a stepping stone for me, Wu Yifan, to become invincible. Although Wu Yifan's realm was only the Saint King realm at this time, he already possessed an invincible aura, which made Wu Hao nod his head. Only such a person was worthy of the fate of the Son of Destiny. How can a man who has been cheated by women 3 times and is willing to betray his family to be with the woman who cheated on him be worthy of being the Son of Destiny? Wu Yifan left. Only after Wu Yifan left did Wu Hao have time to check the system's feedback. However, after seeing the system's feedback, Wu Hao couldn't help but gasp. Ding! Congratulations to the host for sending a Blood Emperor pill. It was detected that the gift target is the Child of Destiny. 1 million Blood Emperor pills have been fed back. Blood Emperor pill, it can help the swallowed target to advance to the Great Emperor realm, but it is an act of forcing things to happen. Subsequent breakthroughs will be much more difficult than for cultivators who break through to the Great Emperor realm normally. Chapter 59. Tisk, 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 I didn't expect there would be such a good thing. Wu Hao looked at the Blood Emperor pill in the system space and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Although as a top-level red dust immortal, it is not impossible for him to cultivate a little bit of Great Emperor, but if he could have an elixir to help him quickly generate a Great Emperor, then it would naturally be the best thing. Thinking of this, Wu Hao pondered that perhaps it was time for him to find some people who were unable to practice, and then train them to become Great Emperors to serve their Wu family. But it is obviously not the most appropriate time now, so let's take Wu home first. As for why Wu Yida wanted to go home, Wu Hao had already guessed the reason. It was nothing more than for the remaining Chaos Sutra. After all, Wu Yida had already cultivated to the peak of Saint, and with the Blood Emperor pill he had just swallowed, he only needed to wait until Wu Yida woke up to break through to the peak of Saint King. However, Wu Hao did not find the remaining Chaos Sutra in the entire profound heaven world. It was as if the Chaos Sutra only had the chapters that could be cultivated to the Saint King realm. After thinking about it, Wu Hao decided to take Wu Yida home first, and as for the rest of the matters, he would deal with them later. Hey, where am I? Am I dead? Wu Yida couldn't help waking up as if he had had a nightmare. He looked at everything around him and said suddenly. However, he heaved a sigh of relief after seeing that everything around him was the home in his memory. After seeing Wu Yida wake up, the servant at the door quickly went downstairs to report the news to Wu Xianyuan. Not long after, Wu Hao and others appeared in front of Wu Yida's bed. Looking at the worried expressions on his family's faces, Wu Yida smiled and said. Why are you crying? I'm fine, right? Kid, why are you always in danger? Don't you think about the situation before you act? Li Yulong learned the general situation from Wu Hao, and looking at Wu Yida's appearance, he couldn't help but said with heartache. She was only at the soul formation stage, and even saints rarely saw her, let alone her son who had to face other people at the quasi-emperor grade. Seeing his mother crying, Wu Yida couldn't help but panic. After he persuaded her and repeatedly assured her that he would pay attention to her safety next time, Li Yulong stopped crying. By the way, was it you, great-grandfather, who brought me back? Wu Yida looked at Wu Hao and asked. Wu Hao shook his head. Your cousin took you away. I just showed up there so I brought you back. It turns out to be Yifun's cousin. Wu Yida suddenly realized that if there was any cousin who could take him away, it would only be the mysterious cousin Yifun. When talking about Wu Yifun, Wu Yida's eyes were full of admiration, because he had heard Wu Yifun's name many times since he left the Wu family, and he knew how great Wu Yifun's talent was. Wu Yida's wish is to reach Wu Yifun's level one day. Oh, great-grandfather, what's inside my body? Wu Yida suddenly remembered something and looked at Wu Hao with a slightly hesitant expression. Wu Hao spoke openly about the Blood Emperor pill and explained it in detail. Your primal chaos body can use all the power in the world for your own benefit. Although the power of the Blood Emperor pill is extremely mixed, it has no effect on you. You just need to be patient and refine it. Upon hearing this, Wu Yida breathed a sigh of relief, nodded and agreed. After seeing that Wu Yida was fine, Wu Xianyuan and his wife left the room, and Wu Rolong and others also left the room one after another. When only Wu Yida and Wu Hao were left in the room, Wu Yida finally spoke. Grandfather, I am about to break through to the Saint King realm. If it weren't for the next chapter of the Chaos Sutra, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to break through any further. Wu Yida's face was full of worry. He was less than 30 years old this year. After refining the medicinal power of the Blood Emperor pill, he would be able to break through to the peak of the Saint King naturally. But if there were no subsequent chapters of the Chaos Sutra, he would have stopped at the peak of the Saint King. Wu Yida naturally didn't want to see this scene, so his tone of inquiry was full of urgency and anxiety. But Wu Hao just sighed, then turned around and spoke with his back to Wu Yida. Yudao, do you know why your great-grandfather named you Wu Yudao? After hearing this, Wu Yida pondered for a long time before he raised his head and said with determination in his eyes. I know. My father told me that this is because my great-grandfather wanted me to create my own path, so he named me Wu Yida. Yes, you are a teachable boy. Let me tell you a story. That was about the first chaos body in the entire profound heaven world. At that time, there was no Chaos Sutra. That chaos body cultivated to the Great Emperor realm with the help of other accomplices. However, after cultivating to the Great Emperor realm, he found that his strength was not the best among the cultivators of the same realm. So he made a decision that shocked the entire profound heaven world, which was to disperse his power and start over, create his own Chaos Sutra, and then successfully break through to a realm above the Great Emperor and ascend to the upper realm. So what grandfather wants to tell you is that if you want to create your own path, you must create your own Chaos Sutra. The Chaos Sutra you are practicing now was practiced by the previous Chaos Great Emperor. If you continue to practice this Chaos Sutra created by the Great Emperor, you can only reach his limit and cannot walk out of your own chaos path. Do you understand? Of course, if you want to follow the path of the Great Emperor of Chaos, then grandfather can also help you get the rest of the Chaos Sutra. When he said the latter part, Wu Hao turned around and looked at Wu Yida with a serious face. The aura on his body made people believe everything Wu Hao said. However, this story was not made up by Wu Hao, but was recorded in the history of cultivation in Profound Heaven World. Even if Wu Yida wanted to check it out, he could only find the same result as what he said. After hearing what his great-grandfather said, Wu Yida's expression changed. He became extremely excited and full of fighting spirit. Yes, he was a chaotic body with infinite possibilities. But if he followed other people's paths, he could only reach other people's destinations. What Wu Yida wanted was to reach his own destination. Thinking of this, Wu Yida no longer hesitated and spoke in an extremely firm tone. Grandpa, I've made up my mind. I am a body of chaos, so I should create my own path of chaos. Chapter 60. Hearing Wu Yida's words, Wu Hao nodded with satisfaction. Of course, it was not for no reason that Wu Hao said that he wanted Wu Yida to create his own Chaos Sutra. After all, Wu Hao would not joke about the millionfold feedback from the Son of Destiny. In fact, as a chaotic body, Wu Yida's deductive ability is extremely terrifying. In addition, Wu Yida is less than 30 years old now, which means that he still has a lot of time to create his own Chaos Sutra. Just as Wu Hao was thinking about this in his heart, the aura on Wu Yida's body began to decrease sharply, and it continued to weaken from the peak of Saint, to the late Saint, middle Saint, and early Saint. Next came transcending tribulation, refining void, soul formation, nascent soul, then directly descending to refining chi, and finally returning to the realm of mortals. Grandfather, I understand. I will start to deduce my own Chaos Sutra during this period of time. The look in Wu Yida's eyes when he looked at Wu Hao was full of the feeling of great-grandfather, I have finally understood, which moved Wu Hao deeply. Then he turned around and left, letting Wu Yida practice in the room. With the help of the Blood Emperor pill, Wu Yida's speed in deducing the Chaos Sutra will be much faster, but it will not be a matter of 1 or 2 days. Wu Hao is not in a hurry. He believes that there is a long way to go. On the contrary, Wu Xianyuan and others were filled with anxiety and worry when they found out that Wu Yida had dispersed his power. They wanted to say something but were stopped by Wu Hao. Don't worry, Yida is not an ordinary kid. He can succeed. Wu Hao smiled, his face showing an expression that everything was under control. If it were someone else, Wu Hao wouldn't dare to guarantee success, but that person is the child of destiny. Do you know the value of the child of destiny? It is a guarantee of success. Although Wu Xianyuan and others were still very worried, they couldn't say anything after hearing what Wu Hao said. They could only hope that Wu Yida could really succeed. More than a year had passed by unknowingly. During this year, Wu Yida locked himself in the room, thinking only about how to practice his Chaos Sutra. He even went a little crazy. Seeing this scene, Wu Hao couldn't help but sigh, and then came to Wu Yida's room. At this time, Wu Yida looked a little haggard, with untidy beard and messy hair. Grandfather, do you think I don't have the talent to create my own Chaos Sutra? Why haven't I been able to deduce a path that suits me for a whole year? Seeing Wu Hao appear, Wu Yida looked at Wu Hao with a haggard look in his eyes. This was obviously a big blow to him, a child of destiny. Seeing the haggard look of the crown prince, Wu Hao sighed helplessly, and then counseled him. This is not your problem. Sometimes being too persistent can limit you. You might as well go out for a walk. Sometimes it's easier to gain insights if you are open-minded. You are now obsessed with appearances. Hearing this, Wu Yida seemed to have grasped something and his eyes lit up. Thank you, Grandpa. I understand. After saying this, Wu Yida left home resolutely despite the obstruction of Wu Xianyuan and others. Of course, with Wu Yida's current mortal body, he would not be able to leave Wu Hao's spiritual awareness even if he lived his entire life, so Wu Hao kept an eye on Wu Yida every moment after Wu Yida left the Wu family. Then, on the second day after leaving home, Wu Yida had some insights and created his own Chaos Sutra, breaking through to the Qi refining stage, and with the help of the Blood Emperor pill, he was directly promoted to the peak of Qi refining. And that's not all. On the 7th day, he directly realized the foundation building stage, broke through to the spiritual sea in a month, broke through to the gold core in 3 months, was promoted to the nascent soul in half a year, and recovered to the soul formation stage in a year. By the 5th year, it had recovered to the peak of transcending tribulation. Wu Hao couldn't help but gasp when he saw this scene. He had to say that the son of destiny was the son of destiny. If he wasn't hanging on the wall, he was afraid that he would not be able to catch up with such a terrifying promotion speed. Although he was envious, Wu Hao did not say anything. After all, they were his descendants, and they gave him 1,000,000 times more feedback. In other words, the stronger his descendants were, the stronger he would be. It was a win-win situation. As 5 years passed, Wu Hao had already reached the pinnacle of true immortal and was only 1 step away from becoming a golden immortal. During these 5 years, Wu Li was raised by So Kioran into an extremely delicate boy who looked very handsome. "Grandfather, can I start practicing from today?" Wu Li came to Wu Hao and asked excitedly. Every boy has a dream of flying with a sword in his heart, no matter how old he is. Wu Li is no exception. Ever since he was a child, Wu Li had been flying around with So Kioran. He had long wanted to practice on his own and enjoy the pleasure of flying with a sword. Looking at Wu Li's expectant eyes, Wu Hao smiled, nodded, reached out his hand, touched Wu Li's head and said, "That's right, little Wu Li can also practice from today." After saying that, Wu Hao directly took out a book of exercises from his storage ring, with 4 big words written on it. The Book of Time and Space. This is the most suitable technique for the space-time divine body that Wu Hao could find. After taking the Space-Time Dao Sutra from Wu Hao, Wu Li's eyes couldn't help but shine. From today on, he, Wu Li, is also a qualified immortal cultivator. Thinking of this, Wu Li opened the Time and Space Dao Sutra and wrote down every word in it. Then, he began to comprehend the spiritual energy according to the trajectory of the meridians described in the Time and Space Dao Sutra, and then absorbed the energy into his body and broke through to the Qi refining realm. It's just a pity that because Wu Li had low-grade spiritual roots, it took him almost a day to break through to the initial stage of Qi refining. "Grandpa, are you disappointed with Wu Li's performance?" Wu Li felt ashamed of himself for taking a whole day to break through to the Qi refining stage. But Wu Hao just shook his head and comforted him with a very serious expression. "Wu Li, you have to remember one thing. Since you have low-grade spiritual roots, it proves that you have obtained the ticket to become an immortal. So what if you have low-grade spiritual roots? As long as you can cultivate immortality, you are already stronger than many people. And grandfather, I am only a low-grade spiritual root, but I still broke through to such a powerful level, right?" Hearing his great-grandfather's words, Wu Li nodded and agreed, vowing to work harder and strive to become stronger. At this moment, Wu Hao was thinking about when he should kick Wu Li out. After all, if Wu Li stayed in the Wu family, he would not be able to find his natal immortal weapon. Although Wu Hao had been searching for Wu Li's immortal weapon during the past 8 years, the immortal weapon seemed to have its secrets and aura concealed, and Wu Hao could not find it at all. But it makes sense. Wu Li is the reincarnation of the immortal emperor. What if his own immortal weapon is taken away by someone else if he doesn't keep any tricks? Although Wu Li had to leave the Wu family in order to find his immortal weapon, Wu Hao did not intend to let Wu Li leave just like that. At least he had to upgrade Wu Li's spiritual roots to middle grade or even high grade before he could leave the Wu family. Chapter 61. Grandpa, do you really want to let Wu Li go out as well? At this time, inside the Wu family, Wu Hao gathered Wu Wanggu and his wife together, and asked with a very reluctant expression. But Wu Hao nodded resolutely and then explained. Wu Li, like Yifan and Yida, are all children of destiny. The so-called children of destiny need to go through hardships to grow up. Staying in our Wu family will only hinder their growth. Don't worry, they have special fates, nothing will happen to them. After hearing what their grandfather said, Wu Wanggu and his wife Yu Yuran could only nod and agree. Of course, I won't let Wu Li leave like this. Let's upgrade his spiritual roots to high-grade spiritual roots first. Wu Hao thought of something and spoke. After all, Wu Li is the son of destiny, which means that if he upgrades Wu Li's spiritual roots to high-grade spiritual roots, the system will give him 1,000,000 middle-grade spiritual roots and high-grade spiritual roots. Hearing this, Wu Wanggu nodded and agreed. I understand, Grandpa. Soon, Wu Wanggu agreed to what he said and started the plan to improve Wu Li's spiritual roots. Ding! Congratulations to the host for investing in the middle-grade spiritual roots of the descendant of the Son of Destiny. 1,000,000 middle-grade spiritual roots have been returned to the host. The host can give them to the target in need. Ding! Congratulations to the host for investing in the high-grade spiritual roots of the Destiny Child's descendant. The host has received 1,000,000 high-grade spiritual roots in return. The host can give them to the target in need. A month passed in the blink of an eye. During this month, with the help of Wu Wanggu and others, Wu Li's low-grade spiritual roots were successfully upgraded to high-grade spiritual roots. As for upgrading to the best spiritual root, the Wu family cannot do it with their current foundation, even though the Wu family is already the richest force in the entire profound heaven world. In the blink of an eye, another 10 years had passed. During these 10 years, due to the limitations of Wu Li's own talent, he had only broken through to the spiritual sea realm. Compared with Wu Yifan and Wu Yida, he was much inferior. 10 years have passed, Wu Li has grown up, and it is time for him to leave the Wu family. Father, Mother, do I really want to leave? Wu Li looked at his parents in front of him, who also had reluctance on their faces, and asked with a wry smile. Wu Wanggu just smiled and shook his head, and his eyes became firm. Child, that is something you must experience. Only after experiencing those things can you become a true immortal cultivator. Besides, profound heaven world is so big, and communication is so convenient nowadays, so it is still very convenient to contact. Hearing this, Wu Li no longer hesitated and resolutely turned around and walked out of the Wu family. However, when he was about to reach an area where Wu Wanggu and others could not see him, he turned around and looked at Wu Wanggu and others, waved his hand heavily, and then turned and left. As for Wu Hao, he stood on the top of the Wu family's mountain and watched Wu Li leave. So Qioran also accompanied Wu Hao, and her eyes were full of reluctance when she looked at Wu Li. After all, Wu Li was raised by So Qioran, so it would be a lie to say that they didn't have deep feelings for each other, but this was her husband's decision, so Qioran had to agree even if she was reluctant. During these 10 years, So Qioran has broken through to the Saint King realm. As for Wu Hao, he has also been successfully promoted to the Golden Immortal, with a lifespan of tens of millions of years. After all, now with the millionfold feedback from the 3 Sons of Destiny plus the accumulated feedback from the hundreds of people in the Wu family, Wu Hao will break through unknowingly even if he doesn't want to, until he reaches his limit. Honey, so what are you going to do next? So Qioran looked at Wu Hao. From Wu Hao's performance during this period, So Qioran could more or less tell that Wu Hao was planning something. Wu Hao shook his head, then looked at So Qioran and spoke. I plan to raise a great emperor legion. After hearing Wu Hao's words, So Qioran couldn't believe it at all. She stood there in a daze for a long time before finally speaking, her tone full of doubt and shock. Honey, what do you want to build? Great Emperor Legion, what's wrong? Wu Hao was a little puzzled and spoke again. This time So Qioran heard it clearly, and was even more shocked. Honey, are you sure you're not kidding? That's the Great Emperor. As a native of profound heaven world and a quasi-saint of the Holy Land of 10,000 Flowers, So Qioran naturally knew that there were no great emperors in the current profound heaven world. In other words, if someone broke through to the Great Emperor, he would be the king of the entire profound heaven world. Unless the 4 holy places join forces, they will never be a match for a great emperor. Wu Hao smiled, mysteriously took out a Blood Emperor pill from his storage ring, and then began to explain. Under normal circumstances, I would never dare to talk about forming a great emperor core, but you should feel this pill first. In fact, when Wu Hao took out the Blood Emperor pill, So Qioran keenly sensed the terrifying medicinal power of this pill. It is no exaggeration to say that if it were given to her, she would definitely be able to break through to the Great Emperor. As if he knew what So Qioran was thinking, Wu Hao shook his head and spoke. Although this pill can help ordinary people break through to the Great Emperor in a short period of time, it will have a great impact on the person who swallows it from now on. In other words, the road ahead is almost cut off. Hearing this, So Qioran gave up the urge to swallow the pill, but soon thought of something and asked curiously. So where did you get this pill, husband? Wu Hao raised his eyebrows and asked. Do you still remember what happened when we returned together 11 years ago? Hearing this, So Qioran also remembered that incident and nodded. Wu Hao continued. This pill was left behind by the demonic cultivator who attacked Yudao. I just got that pill and improved it a little bit. And now, I have about 100 of these Blood Emperor pills in my hand. Upon hearing that Wu Hao actually had so many Blood Emperor pills in his hands, So Qioran couldn't help but stand there in a daze, but soon her eyes were filled with ecstasy. After all, this means that they can cultivate 100 great emperor-level strong men for the Wu family. It is no exaggeration to say that one great emperor can make the Wu family the undisputed overlord of profound heaven world. If there are 100 of them, I am afraid that the entire profound heaven world will have the surname Wu from today on. What Soki-Oren didn't know was that Wu Hao actually had more than 100 blood emperor pills in his hand, but a terrifying 1 million. The reason he took them all out was just to avoid inflation. After all, great emperors are scarce in profound heaven world right now. If there are too many great emperors all of a sudden, they will become worthless. As for whether the great emperor can be cultivated and controlled, that is not in Soki-Oren's plan. According to Soki-Oren's understanding of Wu Hao, unless he is fully confident, Wu Hao will never come up with the idea of creating a great emperor army. Thinking that Wu Hao's strength might have broken through to that of the great emperor, Soki-Oren couldn't help but feel frustrated. It seemed that she needed to work harder. What if her husband disliked her low strength one day? Wu Hao naturally didn't expect that Soki-Oren had so many thoughts in her mind. At this moment, Wu Hao was thinking about what to do about the Great Emperor Legion. Since the Blood Emperor pill can enable ordinary people to break through to the Great Emperor, Wu Hao would naturally not choose people with spiritual roots to use the Blood Emperor pill. After all, what if someone turns against him in the future and says that Wu Hao has cut off his path? Another most important point is to be absolutely loyal to yourself. Intelligence and appearance are secondary. Only people who are loyal to you are worth cultivating. Chapter 62. Sister, I told you I really didn't mean it, why do you have to hold on to me? At this time in the northern region of profound heaven world, Wu Yifan looked at the woman in white who was chasing him relentlessly from behind with a helpless expression on his face. There was no time to mourn for the messenger of Blood Soul sect. The one who was chasing Wu Yifan now was the saintess from Rao Shui Holy Land, the saintess Lin Zixin, who was known as a peerless genius rarely seen in the entire Rao Shui Holy Land in a million years. Today, Lin Zixin has broken through to the supreme peak at only 500 years old, and is hailed as the person in the entire Rao Shui Holy Land who is most likely to break through to the great emperor in the past million years. Because Wu Yifan had peeped at her bathing before, Lin Zixin's mind was unstable and she was unable to break through to the quasi-emperor level. So after knowing that Wu Yifan had escaped, Lin Zixin also made an excuse to petition Lin Shoru to come out and hunt down Wu Yifan herself. As long as Wu Yifan is alive, Lin Zixin will not be able to break through to the quasi-emperor level. So after knowing this, Lin Shoru agreed and gave Lin Zixin many means to prevent her from suffering losses at the hands of Wu Yifan. However, Wu Yifan's realm now is only at the peak of the Saint King realm. He can only rely on the strength of the ancient saint body to keep a distance from Lin Zixin. Although he will not be caught up by Lin Zixin, it will be very difficult for him to get rid of Lin Zixin for a while. No, I have to find a way to get rid of her. Otherwise, if she affects me, I might not be able to break through to the Supreme. Wu Yifan originally planned to break through to Supreme, but because he was targeted by Lin Zixin, he was unable to break through to Supreme with peace of mind. After all, breaking through to the Supreme requires an extremely safe environment. Otherwise, once affected, it is easy to become possessed. While thinking about how to escape from Lin Zixin's pursuit, Wu Yifan was also observing everything around him, looking for a possibility to get rid of Lin Zixin. But Lin Zixin is also a supreme-level strongman after all. Moreover, because of her strong background and advanced weapons, even some weaker quasi-emperors may not be able to defeat Lin Zixin. As time passed unknowingly, Wu Yifan and Lin Zixin arrived in the western region quietly. At the same time, inside a certain force in the western regions, there were broken limbs and corpses everywhere, and the blood of countless people was flowing on the ground, gathering into an extremely bright red blood river. Ahem, damn it! You are so bold as to do something that would destroy your sect. Aren't you afraid that the four sacred grounds will once again settle accounts with you, demonic cultivator? A middle-aged man wearing golden armor was leaning on the ground with a broken sword in one hand, staring at the figure in a blood-red robe in front of him with an extremely angry expression. He was the envoy of the Blood Soul sect whose Blood Emperor pill refining plan was disrupted by Wu Yifan in the central region. After the plan failed, the Blood Soul sect's envoy came to the western region. After all, if nothing unexpected happened, the entire central region would launch a strike plan against demonic cultivator. The fact was just as the Blood Soul sect's messenger had expected. Not long after he left the central region, all the quasi-emperors in the central region came out in full force, trying to find him. Although he believed that no one in the same realm could be his opponent, that was when there was no intervention from a Saint Lord level being. In that case, if his whereabouts were exposed, he would not have the strength to deal with the 4 Saint Lords joining forces. Not long after arriving in the western regions, he couldn't help but find a second-tier force, destroy it, and then use the blood and energy of an entire force to refine the Blood Emperor pill. But it was obvious that he had failed. This bit of blood energy could only make his strength a little closer to that of a true great emperor, and it was of no use otherwise. After all, the Blood Emperor pill requires a quasi-emperor peak stage medicinal ingredient, 5 quasi-emperors late stage, and a special physique to be refined. The force he destroyed obviously did not meet the requirements. Noisy. The Blood Soul Sex Envoy frowned, then slapped the quasi-emperor late stage warrior to death. After killing the late stage quasi-emperor, the Blood Soul Sex messenger turned around and prepared to leave. For the Blood Soul Sex grand plan, he had to break through to the great emperor as soon as possible. Just when the Blood Soul Sex messenger was about to leave, he felt something and his eyes lit up. There are 2 more with special physiques. Thinking of this, the Blood Soul Sex messenger no longer hesitated and disappeared on the spot. On the other side, Wu Yifan was still thinking about how to get rid of Lin Zixin, while Lin Zixin was also thinking about quickly killing Wu Yifan, this scoundrel, and then breaking through to the quasi-emperor level. But at this moment, Wu Yifan's hair stood on end, as if he was being stared at by something terrifying, and almost subconsciously punched forward with all his strength. Heavenly Emperor Fist. At the moment when Wu Yifan's fist fell, the figure of the Blood Soul Gate messenger appeared in front. It has to be said that Wu Yifan's terrifying combat awareness is so terrifying that he can even predict the appearance of the Blood Soul Sex messenger 1 step in advance. The Blood Soul Sex envoy was also startled, but after he came to his senses, he became even more excited. Wu Yifan's stronger strength will be more beneficial for his breakthrough to the Great Emperor. As for Wu Yifan's full strength punch, it was completely insignificant in the eyes of the Blood Soul Gate messenger. It has to be said that Wu Yifan's foundation is indeed extremely powerful. Although he is only a Saint King, with his strong body and terrifying martial arts, even a normal early quasi-emperor cannot block his full-strength punch. But the Blood Soul Sect envoy in front of him was at the peak of quasi-emperor level, so he just blew a breath and directly blocked Wu Yifan's punch. What? Wu Yifan's pupils shrank sharply. He didn't expect that the full-strength punch that he was so proud of was blocked so easily by the Blood Soul Sex messenger. Then the Blood Soul Sex messenger stretched out his hand and flicked it lightly. In an instant, Wu Yifan felt a great terror coming towards him. The next second, his body reacted almost before his consciousness, and several spiritual shields appeared in front of Wu Yifan. But in the eyes of the peak quasi-emperor, all this seemed to be in vain. The 99 layers of spiritual shields that Wu Yifan had set up in an instant were like a bullet hitting tofu the moment they came into contact with the spiritual energy shot out by the Blood Soul Sex messenger. They couldn't even block it for a moment. In just a breath of time, the attack of the Blood Soul Gate messenger arrived in front of Wu Yifan, and Wu Yifan could only stare at the scene blankly. This was the first time that Wu Yifan felt so desperate. Even when he was at the saint level facing the 3 Saint Kings, he could at least escape. But now he really couldn't see any hope of escape at all. But at this moment, a beautiful figure appeared in front of Wu Yifan. Chapter 63. Oh, I didn't expect you to take action. Seeing Lin Zixin appear in front of Wu Yifan and help Wu Yifan block the attack, the Blood Soul Gate messenger couldn't help but show a little surprise on his face. After all, he had just seen Lin Zixin still chasing Wu Yifan and they were incompatible, but he did not expect that she would stand up to help Wu Yifan block the attack. Of course, the Blood Soul Sex messenger did not use too much strength in this attack because he wanted to seriously injure Wu Yifan instead of killing him. Otherwise, if the Blood Soul Sex messenger had been more serious, Wu Yifan would have died long ago. Wu Hao, are you serious? Of course, what everyone present didn't know was that Wu Hao had already left many means of protection on Wu Yifan. Of course, the premise was that the attack could really kill Wu Yifan, otherwise it would not be triggered. After all, it doesn't matter if the child of destiny always cheats. He has to endure some setbacks. Humph, we righteous monks are different from you demon Dao monks. If we continue to fight among ourselves under such circumstances, wouldn't it make you demon Dao monks laugh at us? An extremely powerful aura burst out from Lin Zixin's body, but in the eyes of the Blood Soul Sex envoy on the opposite side, it was still not enough. As the saint who is most likely to break through to the great emperor in the entire Su Rao Shui Holy Land in millions of years, Lin Zixin naturally has a special physique, and Lin Zixin's special physique is the legendary Swanyan Holy Body. It is a kind of powerful physique that is said to bring many benefits to both parties after practicing dual cultivation with a man. Of course, without losing her virginity, Lin Zixin's cultivation speed is much faster than that of normal people. Interesting, but for me there is no difference between 1 and 2. I'd better take you down as soon as possible to avoid more trouble. The messenger of Su Sui Hunman shook his head, and the next second he suddenly attacked Lin Zixin and Wu Yifan. At this critical moment of life and death, Lin Zixin and Wu Yifan could no longer care about so many things. The most important thing at the moment was to hold on from the blood soul sex messenger. Hold on for an hour. I have already informed the Holy Lord. It will take him an hour to arrive. Lin Zixin communicated with Wu Yifan that as long as they could hold out against the blood soul sex messenger for an hour, they would be able to survive. After hearing Lin Zixin's voice transmission, Wu Yifan couldn't help but reveal a bitter smile on his face. Hold on for an hour? Is Lin Zixin kidding? The blood soul sect envoy in front of them is at the peak of Quasi Emperor. The two of them combined can barely beat a weakling at the middle stage of Quasi Emperor. Can they really hold out for an hour? But now they have no choice but to hold on even if they can't. Or they can spread the news here and let the top forces in the western region or the people in the Holy Land of Thunder find out. Otherwise they wouldn't have lasted an hour. However, this time the blood soul sex envoy had obviously learned from the lesson of the last failure. Before taking action, he had already set up an isolation formation around him to prevent any movement here from being transmitted out. I'll hold him off head-on, and you'll assist me from the side. Wu Yifan glanced at Lin Zixin, then resolutely rushed towards the blood soul sex messenger, and even Lin Zixin was too late to stop him. As he watched Wu Yifan rushing towards him, a trace of disdain flashed across the face of the blood soul sex messenger. He was just a peak saint king and was nothing to be afraid of. Seeing Wu Yifan throwing a punch at him with all his strength, the blood soul sect messenger also threw a punch. He wanted to let Wu Yifan know that an ant should have the awareness of an ant. He did not use his full strength only to keep him alive so that he could refine the Blood Emperor pill. But at the moment when the Blood Soul Gate messenger's fist collided with Wu Yifan's fist, a terrifying force came from Wu Yifan's body, making the Blood Soul Gate messenger's face full of shock. Before he could react, he was knocked back several steps by Wu Yifan's punch. Seeing this scene, Lin Zixin was slightly shocked. It was obvious that she did not expect that Wu Yifan actually had some hidden talents. How is that possible? Aren't you just a peak saint king? The moment the blood soul sex messenger finished speaking, Wu Yifan broke through the bottleneck directly. The aura on his body directly broke through the peak of the Holy Realm and stepped into the Supreme Realm. Moreover, after breaking through to the Supreme Realm, Wu Yifan's aura did not stop at all and continued to rise. Supreme Midterm, Late Term, Peak. It didn't stop until it reached the Supreme Peak. The real battle begins now. Wu Yifan looked at the blood soul sex envoy in front of him, his inner fighting spirit rising steadily. The next second, he took the initiative to kill the blood soul gate messenger. With his realm reaching the supreme and his physical body being supreme and invincible, Wu Yifan burst out with all his strength. With the tacit cooperation of Lin Zixin beside him, the two of them were able to prevent the blood soul gate messenger from being taken down for a while. But as time went on, the blood soul sex messenger also noticed some clues, that is, Wu Yifan's aura was constantly weakening, although the speed was very slow, but it was indeed weakening. Boy, it seems that you must have performed some forbidden technique in exchange for a brief breakthrough to the supreme peak, but it seems that you can't hold on for much longer. The blood soul gate messenger's guess was correct. In this situation, Wu Yifan could only surprise the blood soul gate messenger from the very beginning, break through to the supreme realm at the moment of fighting with the blood soul gate messenger, and then use forbidden techniques in exchange for a chance to briefly break through to the supreme peak. Otherwise, they would not have been able to hold on for so long, but forbidden techniques all have side effects, and the longer the time, the greater the power exerted, and the backlash side effects will be extremely terrifying. But Wu Yifan couldn't care less about all these now. He had already known the purpose of the blood soul sex envoy from his great-grandfather, and he could probably guess that the blood soul sex envoy wanted to capture him to refine the Blood Emperor pill. Wu Yifan didn't want to die while refining the Blood Emperor pill. He would rather die in the battle with the demonic cultivator. After hearing the words of the blood soul sex messenger, Lin Zixin, who was standing by, looked at Wu Yifan with a hint of worry in her eyes, but she also knew that apart from this method, they would not be able to hold on until Lin Shuoru arrived. Now we can only hope that Lin Shuoru has already known the news and is arriving soon. After Lin Shuoru learned the news from Lin Zixin, she didn't care about anything else. She took the emperor weapon of Rao Shui Holy Land and rushed towards the western region. Before setting off, he told Lei Wanyun to go to Lin Zixin first. After all, Lei Wanyun was in the western regions, and he would definitely arrive there before her. In this way, Lin Zixin would have a greater chance of being rescued. Damn demonic cultivator, you'd better pray that my daughter is okay, otherwise, Lin Shuoru, will kill all the demonic cultivators in the world. Lin Shuoru thought angrily in her heart, and when she thought of this, she couldn't help but speed up her pace. P.S. I really can't think of any, so I'm collecting names. Nice names can be used as the names of the child of destiny, and unpleasant names can be used as names of ordinary people in the Wu family. Please give me a name. Chapter 64. Damn, how long can this guy last? The Blood Soul Sex Envoy looked at Wu Yifan, who was still struggling to support him, and his expression turned ugly. He didn't expect that Wu Yifan alone could hold him back for half an hour. If he couldn't take down Wu Yifan and Lin Zixin, trouble would probably arise again. It turns out that Wu Yifan, who possesses an ancient holy body, is the best target for the Blood Soul Gate Messenger. After all, the Blood Soul Gate Messenger can not only help him break through to the Great Emperor, but also help the Holy Sun break through to an even more powerful realm. If I could bring Wu Yifan back, the Holy Sun would definitely reward me well. But it seems that Wu Yifan cannot be taken away. Thinking of this, the Blood Soul Sect Messenger couldn't help but look at Lin Zixin, who was assisting Wu Yifan on the side, and the next second he killed Lin Zixin. Wu Yifan realized his purpose almost the moment the Blood Soul Sex Messenger disappeared. His face changed and he rushed towards Lin Zixin. Right now he and Lin Zixin are a united front. If something happens to Lin Zixin, he will be the next one. But the Blood Soul Sex Messenger was too fast, and Lin Zixin had no time to react at all. She just stood there stupidly until Wu Yifan appeared in front of her and she finally reacted. But even so, this did not change the ending at all. Seeing this, Wu Yifan could only grit his teeth and push Lin Zixin away. In Wu Yifan's opinion, Lin Zixin came to chase him because he accidentally saw Lin Zixin bathing. If he hadn't seen it, Lin Zixin would not appear here and would not fall into a dangerous situation. If Lin Zixin got into trouble because of him, Wu Yifan would never be able to forgive himself. The price of protecting Lin Zixin was that Wu Yifan was hit by a palm from the Blood Soul Sex Messenger and flew out. Lin Zixin finally reacted and rushed behind Wu Yifan to catch him, but the terrifying force still inevitably made both of them fly backwards. Oh, I didn't expect it to be like this. If that's the case, then follow me. The Blood Soul Sex Envoy's eyes lit up, as if he had not expected Wu Yifan to go to such lengths to protect Lin Zixin. Seeing this, the Blood Soul Sex Messenger no longer hesitated and planned to kill Lin Zixin and Wu Yifan and take them away. But at this moment, Lin Zixin gritted her teeth, took out a talisman emitting golden light from the storage ring, and after transferring her own power into the talisman, she and Wu Yifan disappeared. It's actually a 13th level talisman. The Blood Soul Sex Envoy's face changed slightly. It was obvious that he did not expect that Lin Zixin had such a good thing in her hand. You know, this kind of thing is extremely scarce even in the Holy Land. But he soon thought of something, and the Blood Soul Sex Envoy's face changed slightly. The next second, the formation he had set up was destroyed. Lin Shuoru and Lei Wanyun appeared in the sky. After seeing the messenger from the Blood Soul Sect, Lin Shuoru's face couldn't help but become angry. How dare you, demonic cultivator, lay hands on my daughter? Die! After not seeing her daughter, Lin Shuoru was heartbroken, thinking that her daughter might have died at the hands of the demonic cultivator in front of her. The Blood Soul Sex Envoy couldn't help but feel a pang in his heart after seeing Lin Shuoru and Lei Wanyun. Let alone 2 Saint Lords, he would not be a match for even 1 Saint Lord. Thinking of this, the Blood Soul Sect Messenger snorted coldly, then turned and left. Originally, the Blood Soul Sex Messenger thought that Lin Shuoru would not catch up, but he did not expect to see him leave. Lin Shuoru caught up without hesitation, and Lei Wanyun followed closely behind. At this time, Lin Shuoru's eyes were red, and she was immersed in the grief of losing her daughter, but she didn't realize that her daughter's breath was still there. Lei Wanyun is Lin Shuoru's best friend. He has also watched Lin Zixin grow up, so they naturally have a deep relationship. Now that something has happened, he will certainly not sit idly by. Therefore, the blood soul sex messenger could only watch Lin Shuoru and Lei Wanyun chasing him across most of the profound heaven world. Finally, after seeing the blood soul sex messenger enter the God Burial Valley, Lei Wanyun stopped Lin Shuoru from catching up. Don't chase us. There's the God Burial Valley ahead. It's very dangerous for us to go in. Lei Wanyun stopped Lin Shuoru and spoke with a very serious expression. But Lin Shuoru suddenly broke down and cried in pain. Then what can I do? Zixin is my only bloodline. As her mother, I can't even avenge her. Am I still worthy of being her mother? Lin Zixin is not only Lin Shuoru's only bloodline, but also the only thought that man left for her. Now that the only thought is gone, how can she not collapse? Lei Wanyun was silent for a long time before he spoke quietly. The front is the burial valley of the gods. There is no way he can survive if he goes in there. Don't worry, he is dead. The God Burial Valley is extremely dangerous, and there are many great emperor-level ferocious beasts there. However, it seems that they are restricted by something and cannot come out of the God Burial Valley. Of course, in profound heaven world, there is also the opportunity to enter the God Burial Valley, perhaps to find a breakthrough for the great emperor, and there is no shortage of quasi-emperors who enter the God Burial Valley. But without exception, their final outcome was that they never appeared again, and even their soul lamps were extinguished. So in the profound heaven world, the Valley of the Buried Gods became the fifth forbidden area on the same level as the four forbidden areas. Just when Lin Shuoru was still immersed in the sorrow of losing her daughter, she didn't expect her cell phone to ring at this moment. After seeing Lin Zixin's communication page, Lin Shuoru was stunned for a moment, but quickly answered the call. After knowing that Lin Zixin was still alive, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. He got up and rushed back towards the western region with Lei Wanyun. At the same time, there was a cave inside a mountain within the range of the formation previously set up by the blood soul sex messenger. Wu Yifan and Lin Zixin's clothes were scattered all over the place, looking extremely fierce. Lin Zixin slowly got up from Wu Yifan's body, put on her clothes, and looked at Wu Yifan who was still sleeping. Her eyes were full of complexity, and she didn't know what her emotions were towards Wu Yifan. As the saint of Rao Shui Holy Land, if she was accidentally seen naked by someone, then the other person would either die or marry her. Lin Zixin's ambition is to lead the entire Rao Shui Holy Land to a more glorious future. Love affairs have never been in her plans, so after discovering that Wu Yifan accidentally saw her body, Lin Zixin's idea was to get rid of Wu Yifan. But she didn't expect that Wu Yifan would actually take a palm strike from the Blood Soul Sex Envoy in order to protect himself. The palm strike from the Blood Soul Sex Envoy contained extremely intense demonic energy, and coupled with the backlash of the previous forbidden technique, Wu Yifan's already bad situation became even worse. If he had not received timely medical treatment, Wu Yifan would have really died. This was obviously not an acceptable outcome for Lin Zixin, who saw that Wu Yifan had saved her life. In the end, no one knew what her mentality was, but Lin Zixin had to sacrifice herself in exchange for Wu Yifan's safety. If he practices dual cultivation with the Xuanyan holy body for the first time, he would not only gain great benefits, but also be able to eliminate all of his negative states. This is undoubtedly a great opportunity for Wu Yifan. When Wu Yifan wakes up again, he will be able to successfully break through to the supreme peak. We're even, a whole. Lin Zixin looked at Wu Yifan who was still in a coma, then turned around and left resolutely. Her goal was to lead the entire Rao Shui Holy Land to a more glorious future. Romance was not something she should consider right now. Chapter 65. Strange, what happened? After waking up, Wu Yifan found himself in a cave he didn't know where to go, and his expression became heavy. His memory still stayed at the time when he blocked a palm strike from Lin Zixin. After being hit by a palm strike from the Blood Soul Sex Messenger, Wu Yifan fell into a coma and naturally knew nothing about what happened in between. So he was surprised when he felt that the sequelae in his body disappeared and his realm successfully broke through to the supreme peak. What on earth happened during this period? Something definitely happened that I don't know about. Wu Yifan took a deep breath and thought with a very serious expression. But even if he scratched his head, he couldn't imagine that Lin Zixin would make such a big sacrifice to save her. After all, in Wu Yifan's opinion, Lin Zixin wanted to kill him, so how could she possibly save him? It seems that I need to find the answer to this question myself. I don't know what happened to Lin Zixin. Did she sacrifice herself in exchange for my safety? Wu Yifan thought of something and his expression turned ugly. Thinking of this, Wu Yifan stood up, took a deep breath, and thought to himself with determination in his eyes. Don't worry, Lin Zixin, I will avenge you. Lin Zixin? Wu Li, are you willing to join my Zhantian sect and become my personal disciple? At this time, an old man with white hair was standing in front of Wu Li and speaking with a kind face. Wu Li hesitated for a moment and then nodded in agreement. Disciple Wu Li, hello to master. After leaving the Wu family, Wu Li found the Zhantian sect, one of the 4 emperors and 6 sects in the southern domain, and became a disciple. Of course, when he left the Wu family, his parents and others repeatedly warned him not to show his identity as a member of the Wu family in public. When Wu Li asked the reason, Wu Wanggu sighed and said seriously, Son, you have to know that if you reveal your identity as a member of the Wu family, then even if others respect you, it is only because of the Wu family behind you, not just because of you. The glory you get when you are in glory is only because of success, but if you can still get glory when you are in decline, that is your own glory. As a father, I hope to see you have your own glory. After hearing his father's words, Wu Li felt like he had opened the door to a new world and kept his father's words firmly in his heart. When the registration elder in Zhantian sect asked Wu Li about his background, Wu Li said that he was just an unknown independent cultivator. Soon after he joined the Zhantian sect, Wu Li was favored by Chen Pinggan, the master of Xiaoao Peak, one of the 8 peaks of the Zhantian sect, and was accepted as a disciple. Seeing this, Wu Li naturally had no reason to refuse, so he simply agreed. After seeing Wu Li agreed, Chen Pinggan couldn't help but feel satisfied and nodded. For some reason, Chen Pinggan had a strange feeling in his heart when he saw Wu Li for the first time. It seemed that Wu Li and he were destined to be together, and Wu Li's talent was also not low, so he accepted him as his personal disciple. Otherwise, Chen Pinggan might not have accepted him as a disciple. The disciples around couldn't help but gasp when they saw that a mere high-grade spiritual root could make the leader of Xiaoao Peak accept him as a disciple. The reason is simple. The masters of the 8 peaks in the Zhantian sect are all strong men at the late stage of quasi-emperor level. Among them, Chen Pinggan, the master of Xiaoao Peak, is even more powerful. He has reached the peak of quasi-emperor and has become in existence at the same level as the sect master. It is precisely because of this that Zhantian sect can become the leader of the 6 sects. Ahem, Master Chen Feng, I have good talent too, I wonder if I can make you fall in love with me. At this moment, another genius who also had high-grade spiritual roots came to Chen Pinggan and asked with some expectation in his tone. But Chen Pinggan just glanced at him, then looked at the registration elder and spoke slowly. I don't like this person very much. Do you know that? The elder in charge of registration couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat when he heard Chen Pinggan's words. He looked at the genius and snorted coldly. Get lost now. You have been expelled from our Zhantian sect. How can any random person be worthy of becoming Master Chen Feng's disciple? After the registration elder said this, he took the dumbfounded genius away. The genius didn't even have a chance to beg for mercy before he disappeared. The other disciples couldn't help but lower their heads when they saw this, for fear of angering Chen Pinggan and then being expelled from the Zhantian sect. You know, it is definitely an honor for them to be able to join the Zhantian sect. But if they were expelled by the Zhantian sect, the other forces would probably not want to accept them, for fear of giving the Zhantian sect a bad impression. Just like this, Wu Li, who originally entered Zhantian sect to practice in a low-key manner, could only be forced to become Chen Pinggan's direct disciple. Of course, if he refused, Wu Li, who wanted to keep a low profile, would probably find it even more difficult to keep a low profile. After all, becoming Chen Pinggan's disciple would allow him to practice with peace of mind under the title of Chen Pinggan's disciple, but if he refused, I'm afraid someone would come to cause trouble every day. On the other hand, after leaving the Wu family, Wu Hao took his wife to travel throughout the profound heaven world, calling it a honeymoon. Of course, So Kioran didn't know what this meant, but as long as she could be with her husband, it was fine. While on his honeymoon, Wu Hao was not idle either. He was looking for suitable targets in the profound heaven world to form his great emperor legion. But while searching, Wu Hao couldn't help but be stunned. Ding, the system has been bound to the host for 100 years, and the new function has been activated. Please check. Wu Hao couldn't help but be startled by the system's sudden opening. After all, before, because the system kept making ding-dong sounds every day, Wu Hao had turned off the reminders when the system gave feedback. This is the first time the system has spoken since coming out of the forbidden land of Jinmi. What's new? Wu Hao opened the system panel out of curiosity, but when he saw the new function, he couldn't help but stand there in a daze, feeling ecstatic. A new function is enabled, feedback synthesis. The host can choose whether to synthesize the items fed back each time. 100 items can be synthesized into higher grade items. In other words, 100 yellow grade weapons can be combined into one black grade weapon, and 100 black grade weapons can be combined into an earth grade weapon. The same principle applies to things like martial arts and elixirs. Of course, the cultivation feedback has not been affected by the activation of this new function. After all, cultivation is cultivation, and it is still cultivation after synthesis, so there will be no impact. But soon Wu Hao saw the line of reminder below and began to read it carefully. Ding! The synthesized items cannot be synthesized again. Is that so? I was planning to give Yifan and the others an emperor weapon and then synthesize them infinitely. Wu Hao thought in his heart with some disappointment, if he gave Wu Yifan and the others one emperor weapon, then he could get back 1 million emperor weapons. If 1 million emperor weapons could be synthesized infinitely, who knows what kind of terrifying grade of weapons could be synthesized. But even so, Wu Hao still felt it was pretty good. At worst, he could wait until he became stronger and then go to some powerful forces to borrow resources from them. P.S. I have something to do today, so I will update one chapter less. I will make up for it and add another chapter tomorrow to apologize to you all. P.S. Many big guys said that it is not interesting if it cannot be synthesized, so the humble author added it here for all the readers, and I hope that the readers will be satisfied. Of course, if the feedback is not good, I will change it later, please forgive me. Chapter 66. Wu Li, this is your senior brother, and this is your second senior sister. With you included, I only have 3 disciples. Please don't embarrass me. Soon, Chen Pinggan brought Wu Li to Xiaoao Peak. Although it was called a peak, in fact, its size was beyond Wu Li's imagination and was almost as big as his home. After arriving at Xiaoao Peak, Chen Pinggan introduced Wu Li to his eldest senior brother and second senior sister, Cai Tiankan and Nangongyu respectively. Both of them were much older than Wu Li, both were hundreds of years old, and their realms were naturally not low, both had reached the Saint Realm. Hello, little junior brother. You must practice hard, otherwise you will be kicked out by the master. The purple-haired Nangongyu looked at Wu Li and joked. It was obvious that she also saw that Wu Li was only at the gold core stage. Perhaps for ordinary people, this was already very good, but if he regarded himself as Chen Pinggan's disciple, he would be laughed at if he told others about this level of cultivation. Upon hearing this, Wu Li nodded seriously and bowed in reply. I will work hard to cultivate, second senior sister. Ahem, well, it's getting late. You should take Wu Li to find a peak to settle down first. Wu Li, if you have any problems with your cultivation, you can ask your senior brother and second senior sister. If they can't solve them, then come back to me. At this moment, Chen Pinggan coughed, looked at Cai Tiankan and Nangongyu and explained. After hearing what the master said, Cai Tiankan and Nangongyu nodded, then looked at Wu Li, and the next second they took Wu Li away from the main peak. I don't know what benefit I will get from accepting him as my disciple, but I have a feeling that if I accept him as my disciple, the benefits he will bring me will be unimaginable. Watching Cai Tiankan and Nangongyu taking Wu Li to find a sub-peak to live in, Chen Pinggan thought secretly in his heart. In fact, the reason why Chen Pinggan was able to break through to the peak of the Quasi-Emperor in such a short period of time was partly due to his terrifying talent, and the other part was because Chen Pinggan trusted his intuition very much. It was his intuition that helped him escape death many times and gain great opportunities. After thinking about it, Chen Pinggan stopped dwelling on this matter and turned back to practice. It has been 50,000 years since he broke through to the peak of Quasi-Emperor, but he has no confidence in breaking through to Great Emperor, and he doesn't know when he can break through to Great Emperor. Thank you, senior brother and second sister. After leaving the main peak, Nangongyu looked at Wu Li and asked. Junior brother, you can pick any sub-peak. Of course, you can't choose those 2 peaks, because they are the dojo of me and your senior brother. Nangongyu looked at the other 2 high mountains with barriers. Wu Li nodded and kept searching in the territory of Xiaoao Peak. Soon, Wu Li's eyes lit up and he pointed to a peak not far away and said without hesitation. Second senior sister, I choose that peak. Are you sure? Nangongyu asked for confirmation. Wu Li was curious. If it's confirmed, can't it be changed? That's not the case. It's just that we will only take you once. Next time, you will have to move by yourself. After all, our Xiao Peak is famous for having few disciples and no one lives there. Nangongya spread her hands, looking helpless. Wu Li was speechless, but still nodded. It's okay, that's the one. For some reason, Wu Li had a feeling in his heart that the peak was destined to be with him. Nangongya and Cai Tiankan sent Wu Li to the top of the mountain, and then spoke. All right, junior brother, I'll leave the rest to you. Your senior brother and I will live over there. If you have any questions, you can come and ask us. By the way, your senior brother specializes in the way of the sword, and I specialize in the way of the spear. Wu Li's eyes lit up when he heard that. He was also practicing swordsmanship, so it seemed that he would be able to learn from his senior brother in the future. After finishing everything, Cai Tiankan and Nangongya planned to leave, but before leaving, they took out their cell phones and pulled Wu Li into a group chat, saying that now the cultivation of immortals had to become scientific, and if he had any questions, he could call them. This was also the first time that Wu Li witnessed outside how great an impact his family's business had on the entire profound heaven world. After the eldest senior brother and the second senior sister left, Wu Li packed up Fengxian's things and planned to rest. There aren't many things on the peak, just a mansion, and everything else needs to be arranged by the disciples themselves. Although Wu Li knew a few things about formations, he was not an expert at them, so he planned to wait until tomorrow to ask his master and the others to help him set them up. However, just when Wu Li was about to rest, he felt something and looked into the distance with his eyes narrowed. In a trance, he seemed to see a flash of green light, but when he looked in that direction again, the green light disappeared. Is it an illusion? Wu Li thought with some hesitation in his heart, but soon shook his head. No matter whether it was true or false, he would know what it was by taking a look. It would not affect his speed anyway. Soon Wu Li started searching in the direction of the green light he had just seen. However, after arriving at that place, Wu Li saw something and his eyes were attracted by a small bottle with half of its body exposed on the ground. I saw that the small bottle was covered with emerald green lines and was emitting a faint green light. What's this? The moment Wu Li saw the small bottle, he felt in his heart that this small bottle was definitely not a simple thing. Thinking of this, Wu Li stepped forward, dug out the bottle and held it in his hand. Just after Wu Li got the small green bottle, Wu Hao, who had just finished comforting So Kioran and was taking a rest, also received a notification from the system. Ding! Congratulations to the host's descendant Wu Li for obtaining the Pomme Saint bottle. The host has received feedback that he has 1 million Pomme Saint bottles. Would the host like to synthesize them? Oh, did you find his immortal weapon so quickly? It turns out that staying in the Wu family will only delay the growth of the child of destiny. Wu Hao thought inwardly with some surprise. But he soon nodded and pressed the synthesize button. After all, a mere Pomme Saint bottle was of little use to him. Even if it was synthesized, there would still be a terrifying number of 10,000. Ding! The synthesis of 1 million Pomme Saint bottles was successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10,000 Pomme Saint bottles. Zhangdao bottle can absorb the power of Wandao and use it for one's own benefit, but the prerequisite is that one needs to be in contact with the power of Wandao. After reading the description of the Pomme Dao bottle, Wu Hao couldn't help but gasp. It was obvious that he hadn't expected the Pomme Dao bottle to be so terrifying that it could refine the power of all Daos for his own use. To put it simply, the Pomme Dao bottle can transform the power of the Great Dao that it comes into contact with, and generate the corresponding Great Dao inside the Pomme Dao bottle. When needed, the Pomme Dao bottle can be used to exert the corresponding power of the Great Dao. In other words, as long as the Pomme Dao bottle evolves to its complete form, the true power of the Great Dao can be exerted through the Pomme Dao bottle. Of course, the amount of energy required for the caster is also extremely terrifying. Even now Wu Hao is not absolutely sure that he can bring out the true power of the Pomme bottle. At least he has to wait until the Immortal Emperor to bring out the true power of the Pomme bottle. Chapter 67. After knowing that the true power of the Pomme Dao bottle could only be unleashed in the Immortal Emperor, Wu Hao felt a pang of regret in his heart. If he had known earlier, he would have kept some Pomme Dao bottles to use now. After all, the Pomme Dao bottle needs the Immortal Emperor to exert its full power, but the Pomme Sheng bottle can exert its full power now. However, the system has a very stupid function, which is that it cannot undo operations that have been completed, so now Wu Hao can only grit his teeth and accept the result. This incident did not make Wu Hao unhappy. Soon, after waking up the next day, Wu Hao continued to look for suitable targets in profound heaven world with his wife So Kyoran to form the Great Emperor Legion. Husband, have you really not found a suitable target? On the way, So Kyoran looked at Wu Hao's serious expression, hesitated for a moment and asked. The main thing is that they have been searching for about a month, but have not found any target. Is it because Wu Hao's goal is too high or is it really impossible to find it? Hearing this, Wu Hao's expression became a little solemn. After a long time, he sighed and said. Maybe my requirements are too high. I'll change them. What Wu Hao needs is people who are absolutely loyal to him and will never betray him even if he falls. If necessary, he will ask them to die and they will do it unconditionally. After finding someone who seemed to fit the bill, Wu Hao created an extremely realistic illusion, allowing them to gain great emperor level combat power in the illusion, and then he himself fell into decline, to see what choice they would make. Of course, because everyone betrayed Wu Hao and left after Wu Hao fell, otherwise the leader of the Great Emperor Legion would have been found long ago. Just when Wu Hao was thinking about whether he should lower his requirements, not asking for loyalty to him after he fell into despair, but only asking for obedience to him while he was still strong, he felt something and his eyes lit up. Honey, let's go, I saw something interesting. After saying that, Wu Hao took So Kyoran and disappeared from the spot. When they appeared again, they had arrived in front of a ruin. Why are all the things I cherish being destroyed? In the middle of the ruins, a disheveled girl collapsed on the spot as she watched this scene, her face full of despair. At this moment, it started to rain, which was very suitable for the scene, making the girl's figure look even more lonely. Seeing this scene, So Kyoran just stood beside Wu Hao. Wu Hao must have his own ideas for bringing her here, so she just needed to wait and see. Before she knew it, the girl was stunned where she was. Wu Hao took action and made the girl fall into the illusion set by Wu Hao. In the illusion, Wu Hao also learned the other person's name. He had no name or surname and had just been taken in by the Chen family. Then the Chen family was destroyed and he didn't even have the chance to get a name. The girl was lucky enough to survive because she went out. Before this, the girl had been taken in by more than a dozen families, but without exception, the families that took in the girl were destroyed. In the illusion, Wu Hao took the girl in, used the Blood Emperor pill on her, and granted her a high-grade spiritual root, allowing the girl to work for him. Then Wu Hao became a disabled person by chance, but the girl did not abandon Wu Hao, but chose to stay with Wu Hao. In the illusion, Wu Hao looked at the girl in front of him and couldn't help but smile bitterly. I am now a useless person, the kind that will never be able to practice cultivation. Are you sure you want to stay with me? The girl said seriously. My master is so devoted to me. How can I leave him when he needs me? My life belongs to him. If anything happens to him, I will leave after him. Hearing the girl's words, Wu Hao was stunned at first, but soon burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, I found it. I finally found it. As Wu Hao started laughing, the girl was also stunned, but everything around her slowly dissipated like bubbles. And in front of her were already standing Wu Hao and So Kyoran. Looking at Wu Hao and So Kyoran in front of her, the girl was stunned for a moment, then her eyes lit up. Owner. Well, get up. This was a test for you, and now you have passed it. From now on, you are mine. Wu Hao nodded and said with satisfaction. And because of Wu Hao, So Kyoran also knew the content of the illusion just now, and she couldn't help but look up to the girl in front of her. In today's profound heaven world, there are not many people who can keep their original intentions, and there are even fewer people who can keep their original intentions after becoming powerful. Swallow it, this is the Blood Emperor pill for you, and this is your spiritual root. After Wu Hao finished speaking, he flicked a Blood Emperor pill into the girl's mouth with a flick of his finger, and at the same time, he also injected a high-grade spiritual root into the girl's body, so that her journey would not be cut off. The girl felt the changes in her body, and after a long time she raised her head to look at Wu Hao, bowed her head and spoke in a very serious tone. Please give me a name, master. Since you have no name, then take my surname Wu. As for your given name, call it Mendy. The transformation of a butterfly is like the first dream. You will have a very bright future. Wu Hao pondered for a moment, then chose a name that he thought was pretty good. The girl on the ground will be called Wu Mendy from now on. Wu Mendy's eyes lit up again and she murmured to herself. From today on, I also have a name. At this moment, the rain in the sky stopped, and a ray of sunlight coming out at dawn shone on Wu Mendi's body, making her look as if she was shining. With the help of the Blood Emperor pill, Wu Mendi successfully broke through to the early stage of Great Emperor. And because Wu Hao concealed this aura, no one in Profound Heaven World knew that someone had been promoted to the Great Emperor realm. After breaking through to the Great Emperor realm, Wu Mendi glanced at Wu Hao, and quickly gritted her teeth and made a request to Wu Hao. Master, I have something to say. I know. Go ahead and settle your grievances with the outside world. Then find me 99 absolutely loyal people in the entire Profound Heaven World and bring them to me. Wu Hao knew what Wu Mendi wanted to do. Although those dozen families had adopted her for a short time, Wu Mendi kept this favor in her heart. She was a person who valued friendship and loyalty, and now that she had the ability to avenge those wronged souls, she naturally wanted to avenge them. Wu Mendi glanced at Wu Hao, thanked him profusely, then turned and left. So Kioran stood in front of Wu Hao, sighed and said, "What a poor child, sir. What do you think her origins are? P.S. I was busy cleaning today, so I don't have much time. I will make up for the missing chapters tomorrow. Sorry." P.S. Wu Mendi was previously called Wu Tuodai. The name was changed based on readers' suggestions. If the author forgets to change any mistakes later, please remind me. Thank you for your understanding. Chapter 68. Looking at Wu Mendi's leaving back, Wu Hao withdrew his gaze and spoke after a long time. The body of disaster. Hearing Wu Hao's words, So Kioran couldn't help but gasp. She naturally knew about the body of disaster. Unlike the ancient holy body and the chaos body, which were abnormally powerful, the body of disaster was more like a torture and a curse. Anyone who has a body of disaster will be plagued by disasters and sufferings since birth, and anyone who wants to get close to the body of disaster will inevitably encounter misfortune. This is also why every family that took in Wu Tuod was destroyed. The most important thing is that although anyone who gets close to the disaster body will suffer misfortune, in fact, the disaster body will not be harmed due to its own physical condition, or in other words, it will not die. There was once a quasi-emperor who attacked a body of disaster, and was killed by a piece of debris falling from the sky. It was said that it was a fragment of immortal weapon that fell from the upper realm. In addition, the body of disaster cannot be cultivated, and there are no spiritual roots in the body. Even if the acquired spiritual root generation method is adopted, spiritual roots cannot be generated. Only Wu Hao's system is strong enough to allow Wu Mendi's body to accommodate spiritual roots. Husband, will taking in a body of disaster have any impact on you? So Kioran looked at Wu Hao with concern and asked. Wu Hao just shook his head, his tone full of pride. Don't worry, it's just a body of disaster, it can't do anything to me. This is not Wu Hao's nonsense. No matter how powerful the body of disaster is, can it be stronger than the system? Furthermore, even if the body of disaster can have an impact on the people around it, it will only affect those with weaker cultivation. People like Wu Hao who are in the Golden Immortal realm are only one step away from the Deluo Golden Immortal. He only needs to break through to the Deluo Golden Immortal to jump out of the 3 realms and be outside the 5 elements. From now on, he will not be affected by the long river of time and space, let alone the influence of the body of disaster. Unless Wu Mendi's disastrous body has reached the level that can cause a world-destroying disaster. On the other side, after leaving Wu Hao, Wu Mendi did not hesitate at all and found and destroyed the enemy force that had once taken her in. Without saying a word, she slapped down and killed all the people in the entire force. Although many people did not participate in the plan, in Wu Mendi's opinion, from the moment they joined this force, they had already been in cahoots with it, so there was no question of innocence or not. In just half a day, Wu Mendi destroyed 15 forces and achieved the achievement of killing millions of people. After destroying all the enemies, Wu Mendi did not feel any emotion in her heart, nor did she feel any pleasure from it. This was what she should have done, and she just did it. After doing all this, Wu Mendi did not return to Wu Hao immediately, but came to the ruins of the 15 families. After kowtowing 3 times in a certain direction in the ruins, she stood up and turned to leave. Owner. Seeing Wu Mendi coming back, Wu Hao nodded. Is everything settled? It's all done. From today on, you are a member of my Wu family. Go and do what you should do. Wu Hao waved his hand, and Wu Mendi immediately understood what Wu Hao meant and turned away. Next, she will go find 99 suitable candidates to recruit for her own use, and then come back to Wu Hao, and with Wu Hao's help, break through to the great emperor and become the sword of the Wu family. Wife, let's go back and let her handle the rest. After Wu Hao finished speaking, So Kioran nodded, and the two of them set off and headed back towards the Wu family. On the other side, after exploring for a while, Wu Li finally understood the use of the holy bottle in his hand. I didn't expect that this magic weapon could actually produce a certain amount of spiritual fluid to promote the growth of natural treasures. From now on, I will have no shortage of resources for cultivation. Wu Li watched as a 10-year-old spiritual herb in his hand grew rapidly after a small drop of spiritual liquid was dropped on it. In just 1 minute, it grew to 100 years old. You should know that 10 years can be called yellow grade natural treasure, 100 years can be called black grade, 1,000 years can be called earth grade, 10,000 years can be called heaven grade, 100,000 years can be called supreme grade, and 500,000 years can be called emperor grade natural treasure. In the current profound heaven world, not to mention emperor grade treasures, even supreme grade treasures are extremely rare. But with the help of the magic weapon in his hand, Wu Li has enough confidence to break through to the Saint Realm or even the Supreme Realm in a short period of time. Even the Great Emperor Realm may not be out of reach. At the same time, inside the Rao Shui Holy Land, Lin Shuoru gathered all the elders of the entire Rao Shui Holy Land and then began to ask. Everyone, what do you think happened to the saint? After hearing Lin Shuoru's words, the elders present looked at each other in bewilderment. The chief elder stood up and asked curiously. Holy Lord, what happened? Nothing, I just feel that the saint's behavior has been a little strange recently. Lin Shuoru frowned slightly, as if she didn't know what was going on, and spoke. The elders then understood why Lin Shuoru gathered them together. One of them also had some understanding of Lin Zixin's performance during this period, and he had a guess in his mind, but the guess was a bit absurd, so he did not say it out loud. Holy Lord, what do you think of the saint? Perhaps she is still immersed in the fear of being hunted by the demonic cultivator that day. After all, the saint is not very old, and this is the first time she has been so close to death. It is normal for her to be afraid. The second elder stood up and spoke with a serious expression. Hearing this, Lin Shuoru nodded. Although she didn't think that was the case, there seemed to be no other explanation except this one. It couldn't be that her daughter had a crush on someone. Speaking of her daughter's favorite person, Lin Shuoru already had a suitable candidate in her mind. It seems that she needs to talk to her daughter about it later. At this time, Lin Zixin was lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling with lifeless eyes. After a long time, she sighed. For some reason, she originally planned to forget Wu Yifan and what happened that day. However, since she returned to the Holy Land, she would dream about Wu Yifan every day. The most embarrassing thing was that when she dreamed about Wu Yifan, the two of them were doing that, and it was she who took the initiative. Ah, Lin Zixin, what are you doing? You are the saint of Rao Shui Holy Land. You are the one who wants to bring the entire Rao Shui Holy Land to the peak. Why do you want to degenerate? Lin Zixin covered her face with a pillow and muttered to herself angrily. But at this moment, there was a knock on the door, followed by Lin Shuoru's voice. Daughter, are you free now? I have something to tell you. Chapter 69. Ahem, Mom, I'm fine, come in. When Lin Zixin heard Lin Shuoru's voice, she quickly suppressed the absurd thoughts in her mind and sat down beside the bed. The next second, Lin Shuoru also came in and sat next to Lin Zixin. She looked at Lin Zixin with tenderness in her eyes and spoke. Daughter, does the last incident leave a big psychological shadow on you? Hearing this, Lin Zixin was stunned at first, but soon remembered that what Lin Shuoru was talking about was probably being hunted down by the blood soul sex messenger, so she shook her head and spoke in a calm tone. Mom, what happened last time didn't leave me with any psychological trauma. Then what happened to you? Don't lie to me. The changes you have undergone during this period of time are obvious to everyone in the entire Rao Shui Holy Land. Lin Shuoru looked at Lin Zixin, her eyes full of worry. After all, her daughter was the apple of her eye, and she would not watch anything happen to her. Feeling her mother's concern, Lin Zixin couldn't help but smile, as if she thought of something happy, but soon she shook her head seriously and said. Mom, I'm really fine. I just need some time to process what happened that day. As for the psychological trauma, I really don't have any. Seeing her daughter say this, Lin Shuoru could only put the matter aside for the time being. Then, as if she had thought of something, she spoke in a meaningful manner. By the way, daughter, do you still remember Lei Jingzhan? Hearing Lei Jingzhan's name, Lin Zixin couldn't help but recall a little kid her mother often took her to play at Uncle Lei's house in the Jinglei Holy Land when she was young. I remember, what's wrong? It's like this, take a look at Jing Zhan. If he's suitable, you can try to get along with him. Lin Shuoru smiled and then said. But Lin Zixin froze in place for a moment, and it took her a long while to open her mouth to refute. Mom, you know I don't care about love affairs. I just want to practice and lead the soft water Holy Land to glory. But after the words fell, for some reason, Lin Zixin's mind appeared Wu Yifan's face that made people love and hate him, and she was confused for a moment. Lin Shuoru didn't say much when she heard this. She just mentioned it. If her daughter didn't have any idea, she wouldn't force it. It's just that Lei Jingzhan's secret love will end in failure. Okay, mother, it's time for me to practice. You go out first. By the way, I have a feeling that I will be able to break through to the Quasi-Emperor in the next few days. Please don't disturb me. After Lin Zixin finished speaking, she stood up and pushed Lin Shuoru out. Lin Shuoru didn't react at all. When she realized that her daughter was about to break through to the Quasi-Emperor level, the excitement on her face was obviously unbearable. You have to know that your daughter is only over 500 years old, but she has already broken through to the Quasi-Emperor at over 500 years old, and she is expected to break through to the Great Emperor. Even if she was already 10,000 years old when she broke through to the Quasi-Emperor, not to mention that she is now an old witch of 300,000 years old, the Great Emperor is still a long way off. Alas, I don't know if Zixin can break through to become a Great Emperor and break the curse of profound heaven world that no one can become an emperor. Lin Shuoru thought to herself, a trace of melancholy on her face, she had no chance anyway. But just as Lin Shuoru was about to leave, she remembered something and her face suddenly changed. No, didn't my daughter say that if I didn't kill that guy, I wouldn't be able to break through to the Quasi-Emperor level? Could it be that the guy has been killed? Logically, that shouldn't be the case. Or is there something going on here that I don't know about? Lin Shuoru was extremely depressed, but she didn't think too much about it. After all, it was a good thing to be able to break through to the Quasi-Emperor level. And Lin Zixin didn't say that she was going to break through to the Quasi-Emperor level just to deal with Lin Shuoru, but she really was going to break through to the Quasi-Emperor level. She is already at the supreme level, and practicing dual cultivation with Wu Yifan has brought her great benefits. After all, one has the Xuanyan holy body and the other has the ancient holy body, both have powerful physiques, and practicing dual cultivation will naturally be of great benefit to both parties. Shaking her head and putting Wu Yifan's matter behind her, Lin Zixin began to retreat to achieve the goal of becoming a Quasi-Emperor. On the other side, Wu Yifan calmed down for a while and refined all the remaining power of Lin Zixin in his body, thus breaking through to the supreme peak, and was only half a step away from breaking through to the Quasi-Emperor. Next, it's time to look for natural treasures that can unlock the 9th level of the ancient saint body. I remember that 9 kinds are needed, namely, the Quasi-Emperor Grade Blue Claw Poison Spider Poison Sac, 100,000-year-old Lightning Willow Wood, 100,000-year-old Blazing Sun Fruit, 100,000-year-old Blue Silver Emperor Grass, a Quasi-Emperor Grade Moon Shadow Wolf Fang, Yellow Spring Water, and 3 supreme-level Yang attribute natural treasures. Wu Yifan thought to himself, he already has 3 supreme-level Yang attributed treasures, the Blazing Sun Fruit, the Blue Silver Emperor Grass, and the Yellow Spring Water. Now he just needs to get the Quasi-Emperor Grade Blue Claw Poison Spider Venom Sac, the Moon Shadow Wolf Fang, and the Willow Lightning Strike Wood. According to Wu Yifan's understanding, these 3 things are extremely rare even in the entire Profound Heaven world. After all, there are very few Quasi-Emperor level warriors in Profound Heaven world, let alone the Blue Claw Poison Spider and Moon Shadow Wolf that have reached the Quasi-Emperor level. As for the 100,000-year-old willow struck by lightning, it is naturally a willow tree that has lived for 100,000 years and can survive after being struck by lightning. This is also extremely rare, but as long as you are willing to pay the price, it can be done. Oh, forget it, let's just take it one step at a time. Wu Yifan sighed, then set out to search in the vast Profound Heaven world. After all, there is still the threat of the Blood Soul sect. The envoys of the Blood Soul sect have reached the peak of Quasi-Emperor, which means that there is at least a true Great Emperor in the Blood Soul sect. Maybe there is more than just the Great Emperor. Although he didn't know why the Blood Soul sect didn't send out the Great Emperor to invade Profound Heaven world, Wu Yifan could more or less guess that the Blood Soul sect might be restricted from leaving the Valley of the Buried Gods. Therefore, Wu Yifan must become as strong as possible before the Blood Soul sect comes out so that he can reach the level of being able to resist the Blood Soul sect's strong men. After all, he has the entire Wu family behind him. Master. Looking at Wu Yida who came back to him, Wu Shenna stood up with a happy expression on his face. After feeling Wu Yida's cultivation level, he became even more excited. Yudao, have you broken through to the peak of the Great Sage? Well, I was lucky enough to gain enlightenment and break through to the peak of the Great Sage. Wu Yida nodded with a very calm expression. After receiving guidance from his great-grandfather, Wu Yida completely understood the principle of keeping a low profile, so he would not be too high profile unless necessary. Upon hearing this, Wu Shenna couldn't help but burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, my disciple also has the posture of the great emperor. Now Wu Yida has broken through to the peak of Great Sage before he is 100 years old. According to this speed, he can break through to Supreme in less than 1,000 years, and will surely break through to Quasi-Emperor within 10,000 years. In this way, it seems that the Great Emperor may not be out of reach. Chapter 70. Master, if there is nothing else, I will go down to practice first. Wu Yida has been wandering outside during this period of time and has absorbed too much, so he needs to stop and calm down. Seeing Wu Yida turning around and about to leave, Wu Shenna suddenly remembered something and said with a very serious expression. By the way, you should have time recently. The Four Saints competition is about to begin. You can represent our Tianwu Mountain in the competition then. The Four Saints competition. A look of doubt flashed across Wu Yida's face. Wu Shenna was stunned, and then remembered that Wu Yida might not know about this yet, so he began to explain. Yes, the Four Saints competition. The Four Saints competition is a competition hosted by the four major holy places. It is held every 1,000 years and invites all monks under the age of 1,000 from the entire profound heaven world to participate. Those who rank at the top can receive rewards from the four major holy places. We at Tianwu Mountain also have a place to participate. 10 years from now will be the next Four Saints competition. At that time, you will represent Tianwu Mountain in the Four Saints competition. Upon hearing this, Wu Yida clasped his fists, bowed, and agreed. Everything is up to master. After saying that, Wu Yida turned around and headed for Sediment to prepare for the attack on the Holy King realm. On the other side, in the Wu family, after returning to the Wu family, So Kioran also broke through to the Holy King realm with the help of Wu Hao's dual cultivation and became the youngest Holy King in the history of Wanhua Holy Land. Just when Wu Hao was immersed in being intimate with So Kioran, Wu Rolong coughed at an inopportune time while standing at the door. Wu Hao and So Kioran finally reacted. What's up? Wu Hao frowned slightly and looked at Wu Rolong with a scrutinizing look in his eyes, as if Wu Rolong didn't give him a reasonable explanation, he would promise to send Wu Rolong to special training. Wu Rolong also remembered the purpose of his visit, took out an invitation, and began to explain. This is the invitation letter sent to our Wu family by the Four Sacred Grounds. They invite our Wu family to participate in the Four Sacred Grounds competition. Those who rank at the top will receive rewards from the Four Sacred Grounds. The Four Saints competition. Wu Hao frowned slightly. He didn't know much about this. After all, it was only held once every 1,000 years, and news would only come out before it was held. No wonder he didn't know about it. However, So Kioran's eyes lit up. As the former saint of the Wanhua Holy Land, she naturally knew about the Four Saints competition, so she explained it in a considerate manner. After hearing his wife's explanation, Wu Hao finally understood what the Four Saints competition was. He pondered for a moment and then spoke. How many places does our Wu family have? 5. Wu Rolong said quickly. Hearing this, Wu Hao pondered for a moment before speaking. If that's the case, then give Yifan one spot, and you can take care of the other 4. The moment Wu Hao finished speaking, So Kioran hurriedly spoke. My dear husband, can I go? I want to see the Four Saints competition. Wu Hao naturally would not refuse So Kioran's request. He scratched So Kioran's nose lovingly and then spoke. Okay, go ahead if you want to go. By the way, you should also go and see Rolong. Wu Hao knew that in profound heaven world, there were still many people under 1,000 years old who had broken through to the Saint King level, and Wu Rolong was only in the early stage of the Great Saint level now, so it would be of great help to Wu Rolong to let him go to the Four Saints competition to gain some experience. Wu Rolong naturally did not refuse, but he thought of something, his eyes lit up, and he asked tentatively. Father, I thought you said you could build the Emperor weapon, right? Yes, you have collected all the materials. Wu Hao looked at Wu Rolong, only to see Wu Rolong nod quickly and say, yes, I have found all the materials, so father, when can you make an emperor weapon for me? Hearing this, Wu Hao pondered for a moment, then stretched out his hand. It's better to do it today than today. It's not a time-consuming thing anyway. Hearing his father's words, Wu Rolong's eyes lit up, and he quickly took out a storage ring, which was full of forging materials that Wu Rolong had gathered the financial resources of the Wu Chamber of Commerce to find in Profound Heaven World during this period of time. After checking the materials inside, Wu Hao nodded, and it was indeed possible to forge emperor weapon. What type of emperor weapon do you want? Sword, I want a long sword. After hearing his father's question, Wu Rolong said the sword without hesitation. After all, there is no one who doesn't want to be a sword cultivator. Sword cultivators are so cool. With one sword, they can sweep across 30,000 miles, and all the strong men in the world will bow down to them. Hearing this, Wu Hao nodded, and the next second, under Wu Hao's control, the materials in the storage ring flew out one after another, all of which were emperor-grade forging materials. Under Wu Rolong's expectant eyes, a ball of purple flame appeared in Wu Hao's palm. When Wu Rolong saw the flame, he couldn't help but gasp. This is the Emperor Fire. Everything in the world has different grades. There is even the Monkey King in the stone. It is not surprising that flames have different grades. The flames in Profound Heaven World are divided into 4 grades: Heaven, Earth, Profound and Yellow. Heaven, Earth, Profound and Yellow are collectively referred to as Spiritual Fire. Above Spiritual Fire is Supreme Fire, and above Supreme Fire is Emperor Fire. But according to Wu Rolong's understanding, the so-called Emperor Fire cannot be controlled even by a quasi-emperor grade strongman. Only the Great Emperor can control the Emperor Fire. So he had doubted his father's realm before, but after seeing the appearance of the Emperor Fire, Wu Rolong was finally certain that his father was at least a great emperor. But Wu Hao ignored the reactions of Wu Rolong and others. Under Wu Hao's control, all the forging materials flew directly into the Emperor Fire. Then, they melted into a ball under the control of the Emperor Fire. Under Wu Hao's terrifying mental control, they continued to merge and take shape, gradually approaching the direction of the long sword. After about 2.5 minutes, the long sword was finally formed. As Wu Hao's imperial fire was retracted, a terrifying pressure burst out from the long sword forged by Wu Hao, but was suppressed by Wu Hao. After feeling the terrifying power of the long sword, Wu Rolong's heart was filled with excitement. He had not thought that as an early great saint, he would be lucky enough to have his own emperor weapon. You know, even a peak quasi-emperor might not have his own emperor weapon. Just when Wu Rolong excitedly wanted to take the emperor weapon from Wu Hao, he saw Wu Hao disappear with the emperor weapon. Wait a minute, emperor weapon still needs to complete some steps before it can be called emperor weapon. I'll be back soon. So, Wu Rolong could only watch his father walking away with his emperor weapon, and finally disappearing in front of him. Chapter 71. At the same time, Wu Yifan looked at his great-grandfather who appeared in front of him with some curiosity. Grandpa, what happened? Although he was very curious, Wu Yifan still straightened his posture and asked curiously. But Wu Hao didn't say much. He directly took out the emperor's sword, handed it to Wu Yifan, and spoke slowly. You probably haven't had any suitable weapons recently. This is the emperor weapon forged by my great-grandfather. You can use it first. When Wu Yifan heard his great-grandfather say that this long sword was the emperor's sword, he stood there in a daze. It took him a long time to react. He took the emperor's sword with an ecstatic look on his face and then began to express his gratitude. Thank you, great-grandfather. After Wu Yifan took the sword, the system's voice also rang. Ding, it has been detected that the host has gifted emperor-grade weapons to the descendants of the Son of Destiny. 1 million emperor-grade long swords have been fed back. Please check. System, synthesize it for me. The emperor-grade longsword is of no use to Wu Hao, it would be better to directly synthesize the immortal-grade longsword. Ding, 1 million emperor-grade longswords have been consumed and 10,000 immortal-grade low-grade longswords have been synthesized. Please check. Hearing the system prompt, Wu Hao nodded with satisfaction, then looked at Wu Yifan as if he remembered something, and said with a somewhat annoyed expression on his face. I almost forgot, Yifan. Your physique is an ancient holy body, so the long sword should not meet your requirements. Forget it, you should return it to your great-grandfather. Wu Yifan? No, great-grandfather, I can actually use it, but Wu Yifan still shook his head and returned the Emperor sword to Wu Hao. Wu Hao nodded with satisfaction. Although he already had 10,000 immortal grade swords, what Wu Rolong wanted was Emperor weapon. As a father, how could he not satisfy Wu Rolong's wish? Wu Rolong 6, what type of weapon are you good at? If there is a chance, great-grandfather can forge it for you. After all, Wu Yifan is the son of destiny. If he has a suitable weapon to help him, he should be able to become stronger quickly. Hearing Wu Hao's words, Wu Yifan was stunned for a moment, but he quickly reacted, his eyes lit up and he spoke. Grandfather, I want to use the tripod. Ding! It's a rare weapon. Well, since you want to use it, then Grandpa will see if I can find one for you. Hearing this, Wu Hao frowned slightly, but still nodded in agreement. Okay, hurry up and get stronger. Your responsibilities have changed now. If you are not strong enough before then, you will regret it. Wu Hao looked at Wu Yifan with confusion in his eyes, and before Wu Yifan could ask, Wu Hao disappeared. Seeing this, Wu Yifan could only suppress the doubts in his heart. No matter what, he would work hard to become stronger. He had not yet avenged himself against the Blood Soul sect. After dealing with Wu Yifan's affairs, Wu Hao returned to the Wu family and directly handed the Emperor weapon to Wu Rolong. Seeing his father coming back and handing the Emperor weapon to him, Wu Rolong's eyes were filled with excitement. He, Wu Rolong, finally had his own Emperor weapon. With the blessing of Emperor weapon, Wu Rolong was confident that he could win the championship in the Four Saints competition, and even a quasi-emperor might not be his opponent. Furthermore, with the support of Emperor weapon, his plan to destroy the entire Li dynasty can be put on the agenda. Yes, Wu Rolong did not forget the hatred towards the Li dynasty, and it became even deeper. Although Wu Rolong did not bear grudges, the Li dynasty was going to destroy him. If he did not want to destroy the Li dynasty himself, he would have begged his father to destroy the Li dynasty long ago. Now with the blessing of Emperor weapon, Wu Rolong feels that once he breaks through to the Supreme Realm, he can go to the Li dynasty and destroy it directly. The Emperor weapon was so powerful that it gave a Supreme level monk the terrifying power to destroy a top level force. After obtaining the Emperor weapon and completing what he came here to do, Wu Rolong went back to continue his training. During this time, he was also thinking that perhaps he should hand over the management of the Wu Chamber of Commerce to the rest of the Wu family. After all, as the head of the family, his cultivation level was only that of a great sage, which was a bit too embarrassing. However, Wu Rolong did not take his own age into account. In the entire profound heaven world, there are too few great saints who are 100 years old. It can only be said that there are very few. As Wu Rolong left to practice, So Kioran also spoke seriously. My husband, I am also going to start practicing hard. I want to break through to the middle stage of Saint King within 10 years. Well, I support you. Wu Hao nodded and agreed, then he thought of something and spoke. If you have any questions you don't understand, just come and ask me. Wu Hao is a golden immortal, so it is not easy for him to instruct a holy king. So Kioran nodded, but ultimately did not ask Wu Hao. After all, she was naturally intelligent, and with so many resources to support her, she would never encounter anything she didn't know during her cultivation. On the other hand, as the time for the Four Saints competition draws closer, many forces in the entire profound heaven world begin to stir. Not only can one become famous in the Four Saints competition, the most important thing is that the geniuses who get into the top 100 in the Four Saints competition can enter the Chaos Secret Realm created by the Chaos Great Emperor. Perhaps one can obtain the inheritance of the Chaos Great Emperor, or even break through to the Great Emperor. Today, the Primal Chaos Secret Realm is controlled by the Four Holy Lands, so the only way to enter the Primal Chaos Secret Realm is to rank in the top 100 in the Four Holy Lands competition and enter it. After learning the news, Wu Yidan's calm eyes couldn't help but show a little fluctuation, and he muttered to himself. The Great Emperor of Chaos may be able to help me perfect my Chaos Deo. Thinking of this, Wu Yida closed his eyes and began to practice again. He would definitely have a place in the top 100 of the Four Saints competition this time. Of course, the rest of the forces in profound heaven world all had the same idea, but no one could come to a conclusion before the Four Saints competition began. Do I have to participate in the Four Saints competition as well? Seeing the message sent by Wu Rolong in the family group, Wu Yifan narrowed his eyes. He was already at the supreme level, and there were only a handful of people under 1,000 years old who could break through to the supreme level in the entire profound heaven world. Moreover, Wu Yifan felt that he would be able to break through to the quasi-emperor level in the near future. Wouldn't it be bullying to let him in? But Wu Rolong said that this was Wu Hao's request, so even if Wu Yifan was reluctant, he had to agree. On the other side, in the Blood Soul sect, some conspiracy was also brewing. Chapter 72. Interesting. Are you saying that you encountered an ancient holy body and a mysterious holy body from the supreme realm outside? At the same time, inside the Blood Soul Gate, the Blood Soul Gate messenger who had escaped from the pursuit of Lin Shouru and others had returned to the Blood Soul Gate and knelt on the ground, looking at a young man in a red cloak in front of him with awe. The boy's face was pale and sickly, his lips were bright red, and his hair was also a very striking red, which looked extremely magical. Yes, Lord Saint. It's really interesting. You, a peak quasi-emperor, actually let two supreme realms escape, and you even returned to the Blood Soul sect in disgrace. Should I call you a waste, or a waste? The young man was none other than Shui Yuan, the holy son of the Blood Soul sect, and he was also the one mentioned by the three Blood Soul sect messengers who were killed by Wu Yifan. Hearing Shui Yuan's words, the Blood Soul sect's messenger suddenly trembled and spoke almost begging for mercy. Sir, there is nothing wrong with this Wanyan holy body, but that ancient holy body is extremely strange. Although it has only temporarily broken through to the supreme peak through forbidden techniques, it has a very solid foundation. If I continue, I will definitely be able to take it down. It's just that the holy lords of the soft water holy land and the thunder holy land came, and I chose to leave because I was worried about ruining Sir Saint's good deeds. I hope Sir Saint can forgive my mistake. After saying this, the Blood Soul sect messenger lowered his head, looking extremely frightened, and even his body was shaking slightly. For a long while, Shui Yuan did not speak. Just when the Blood Soul sect's messenger was curious, the next second, Shui Yuan finally took action. I have placed so many high hopes on you, but you have disappointed me. You have made it very difficult for me. After all, we in the Blood Soul sect do not keep waste, so you should just die. After Shui Yuan finished speaking, a terrifying suction force burst out from his body. The Blood Soul sect's envoy's face was filled with fear, and he turned around and planned to escape. But how could the Blood Soul sect's holy son be such a simple person? In just a few breaths, all the blood and energy of the Blood Soul sect messenger was absorbed by the blood essence, and he died. However, a look of disgust appeared on Shui Yuan's face. Trash is trash, even the blood in it is a little dirty. Your Excellency the Holy Son is angry again. Who has provoked you? Just then, a figure in a red dress floated in from outside, and after seeing this scene, she couldn't help but joked. Although Shui Yuan was somewhat angry about the behavior of the woman in red, he did not say anything. After all, the woman in front of him was the elder of the Blood Soul sect, or more precisely, his protector. Elder Hua is joking again. Forget it, let's not talk about this for now. And how is the Blood God's Holy Yuan preparing? I don't want to be trapped in the lower world for the rest of my life. Shui Yuan took a deep breath and asked. When it came to business, Elder Hua also became serious and spoke with a solemn face. The Blood God's divine essence is almost ready. We will probably need the blood essence of 5 special physiques to complete it. By then, we will be able to get rid of the restrictions of profound heaven world and break out of the boundary. Hearing this, Shui Yuan nodded, then thought of something and spoke. I remember that the Four Saints competition will be held outside in 10 years. At that time, all the geniuses in the entire profound heaven world will appear. Perhaps we can find 5 geniuses with special physiques among them. I understand, but we are short of manpower right now. There are too few profound heaven world creatures who can withstand the power of our blood race and break through to the quasi-emperor grade. Even now, we only have 5 quasi-emperor peak profound heaven world people who can get out. Elder Hua was stunned for a moment, then spoke hesitantly. But Shui Yuan waved his hand. It doesn't matter. If this works, we can leave this damn place. I see. Elder Hua nodded in agreement, then went downstairs to prepare for the operation. After Elder Hua left, Shui Yuan narrowed his eyes, looked up at the scarlet sky over the God Burial Valley, and muttered to himself. Father, I don't know what happened to you, but I think those 4 guys can't do anything to you. Wait, I will kill them back. Time always passed quietly during cultivation, and during this period of time, Wu Hao's cultivation also reached the peak of Golden Immortal, getting closer to the eternal Golden Immortal. So Kioran also successfully advanced to the middle stage of Saint King. After all, with Wu Hao giving her special training, how could she not make a breakthrough quickly? As for the other two people, Wu Rolong has already selected them, namely Wu Qunkan and Wu Qishan. Both of them are now in the Saint realm, so it is just right for them to participate in the Four Saints competition to gain some combat experience, which will be beneficial for their future training. Wu Qunkan and Wu Qishan also agreed, and then they made some plans to meet at the Wanhua Holy Land. After all, Wu Qishan is in the Wu Chamber of Commerce in the Northern Territory, so compared to going together, it would definitely be better to gather at the Wanhua Holy Land. The Wu family still lacks a lot of things, such as a clan monument. Wu Hao was sitting on the back hill of the Wu family, and next to him was a lazy little fox, it was Wu Hu. After returning to the Wu family, Wu Hao left Wu Hu in the Wu family to practice. Under Wu Hao's crazy training, Wu Hu has unlocked the seven-tailed form and reached the peak level of the Holy King. When all 9 tails are fully developed, it can rival the Great Emperor, but it is not known whether there are other forms above the 9-tailed fox. Master, so you plan to make a clan monument? Wu Hu asked curiously. Wu Hao nodded and expressed his thoughts. Now that the Wu family has grown stronger, it's time for many things to have a clear order. Many 4th-generation descendants have not yet married and had children, but the 6th and 7th generation descendants have come out, so I decided to create a clan monument in the Wu family to suppress the fortune of my Wu family. Wu Hao spoke slowly, and at the same time he remembered what Wu Yifan had said before, that he wanted a tripod. He could also take this opportunity to complete the matter of the clan monument. Anyway, the effects of the tripod and the steel are actually similar, and the tripod also has the effect of suppressing luck, and can also be used for sacrifices during festivals. Furthermore, he will definitely not stay in Profound Heaven World in the future. His upper limit is too high, and the upper limit of Profound Heaven World is the Great Emperor. He will definitely leave Profound Heaven World in the future. Hearing this, Wu Hu nodded and agreed. But now Wu Rolong is in seclusion to strive for the middle stage of Great Sage, so let's discuss it later. Chapter 73. What, father, are you planning to refine a cauldron to suppress the Wu family's luck? Wu Rolong had just come out of quarantine, and when he heard Wu Hao's words, his face suddenly showed some surprise. After all, according to his understanding of his father seldom worried about family affairs. It can be said that after Qunkan and the others were born, Wu Hao seldom interfered in the affairs of the Wu family. Wu Hao nodded. Yes, now our Wu family can be considered a slightly stronger family. Naturally, we need something of a higher grade to suppress the luck of our Wu family and ensure that our Wu family can prosper in Immortal Dao. In some powerful dynasties or forces, there will be things to suppress the fortune of their dynasty to ensure that the dynasty can prosper forever, such as the powerful dynasty in the Wanhua Holy Land. Moreover, the spiritual treasure that can suppress the luck must be at least at the supreme level. But Wu Rolong sighed and spoke with a hint of melancholy in his tone. Father, it's not that I don't want to, but it took me a long time to find all the materials to make the Emperor weapon sword last time. If I were to look for it now, it would probably take me a long time to find all of them. Hearing this, Wu Hao was silent for a moment, then sighed and said. Do your best. I will also go to look for materials. Once all the materials are gathered, I will refine a magic treasure to suppress the family's luck. Since it concerns the fortune of the Wu family, Wu Rolong naturally would not take it lightly, and quickly ordered his men to search for materials that could be used to refine the Emperor weapon in the Profound Heaven World. However, for unknown reasons, not only was there no Great Emperor in Profound Heaven World, but even the materials needed to refine Emperor weapons had become extremely scarce. Even the powerful Wu Chamber of Commerce had to spend a whole year to collect the required materials. Now if Wu Hao wants to forge a new Emperor weapon, it will naturally take a lot of time. Soon, there were only 5 years left until the Four Saints competition, and at this moment in the Wanhua Holy Land, Lin Tianyi, who had been in seclusion for a long time, finally came out. With the help of Wu Hao, Lin Tianyi finally broke through to the quasi-emperor realm he had always dreamed of. Although Lin Tianyi was only a small early quasi-emperor, everyone in the entire Wanhua Holy Land knew that Lin Tianyi must not be unhappy. You have to know that behind Lin Tianyi is So Kioran, and behind So Kioran is that man. Saint Lord, the Four Saints competition is about to be held again. I wonder if you will go this time. The great elder came in front of Lin Tianyi and asked with some hesitation on his face. Seeing the expression of the Great Elder, Lin Tianyi also knew what the Great Elder was thinking. After all, it was Emperor Murong who represented the Holy Land of 10,000 Flowers before, but now it was him, an early quasi-emperor, who had gone there. If he went there, he might be looked down upon by Li Teibei and others. But Lin Tianyi just shook his head slightly when he heard this, and then spoke slowly. It doesn't matter. After all, I will show up sooner or later. Besides, the news of Emperor Murong's death will spread throughout the entire profound heaven world in no time. By then, it will be impossible to hide it. It is better to take this opportunity to tell the entire profound heaven world that the Holy Lord of Wanhua Holy Land has replaced me. Hearing Lin Tianyi's words, the Great Elder sighed and could only agree. However, he thought that the man would not watch Lin Tianyi get into trouble, right? Soon, Lin Shuoru, Li Teibei and Lei Wanyun came from their respective holy places. After all, the Chaos Secret Realm is in the central region, so it is natural to come to the central region to hold the Four Saints competition. At the same time, it is also the best to discuss related matters in the 10,000 Flowers Holy Land. Soon, Lei Wanyun appeared in front of the Wanhua Holy Land with a huge lightning. After arriving at the range of the Wanhua Holy Land, the lightning on Lei Wanyun's body began to subside. With the arrival of Lei Wanyun, the next second a green figure was seen coming from the east towards the Wanhua Holy Land at an extremely fast speed. It was Li Teibei flying on a sword. After Li Teibei arrived, a blue water ball was seen from the north at an extremely fast speed and almost disappeared in the vicinity of Wanhua Holy Land. The graceful figure in it was naturally Lin Shuoru. Seeing that the others had arrived, Li Bai smiled and said, "Dear fellow deists, long time no see. Indeed, the last time we met was that time." Lei Wanyun smiled and said, but no one knew what he was thinking of. The expressions of the three of them were a little unnatural. But they soon forgot about this little episode. The entire profound heaven world was so big, they wouldn't be so unlucky to meet Wu Hao again. Where is that old guy Murong Huang? Why can't I see him? Lei Wanyun thought of something and spoke carelessly. After all, according to normal circumstances, with the three of them appearing so high profile, Emperor Murong should have appeared long ago. Just when Li Teibei and others were curious, Lin Tianyi slowly appeared in front of them, and after appearing, he bowed to them and greeted them. Greetings to the three fellow deists. I am Lin Tianyi, the new Holy Lord of the Wanhua Holy Land. After hearing Lin Tianyi's words, Li Teibei and others were stunned for a moment. It was obvious that they did not expect that the Holy Lord of Wanhua Holy Land would become a human being in such a short time. It would be fine if he turned into a human, but why is he only an early-stage quasi-emperor? Are you the new Holy Lord of Wanhua Holy Land? Where is Emperor Murong? Li Bai frowned slightly and asked with some confusion. Lin Tianyi said with a calm smile on his face. Saint Lord Murong passed away a few days ago due to some things, so I took over the position of Saint Lord. Do the three fellow deists have any questions? Although Lin Tianyi was very nervous inside, he pretended to be relaxed on the surface. He represents the Wanhua Holy Land, so he cannot lose the face of the Wanhua Holy Land. Several guardian elders were also observing everything in the dark. As long as the situation was not right, they would immediately rush out to support Lin Tianyi. In short, they would never let Lin Tianyi get hurt. Li Teibei and the other two looked at each other, and they could see from each other's eyes the shock at the death of Emperor Murong. After all, Emperor Murong is at the peak of quasi-emperor, and with the help of the Buddha's Wrath Lotus, he can fight even against an early great emperor. Who on earth can make him pass away? And although Lin Tianyi said that Emperor Murong died in meditation, any discerning person could tell that Emperor Murong definitely died in an accident, and it was man-made. After all, Emperor Murong was less than 300,000 years old, while a quasi-emperor had a lifespan of 600,000 years. Thinking of this, Li Teibei and the other two couldn't help but feel heavy in their hearts. If someone really killed Emperor Murong, wouldn't that mean they could also be killed? Chapter 74. Although he felt a little sad about Emperor Murong's death, it only lasted for a moment. Emperor Murong was a powerful man from the same era as them after all, so it would be natural for him to feel sad about his death now. After all, the strength of their four great saints was similar. Okay, Lin Tianyi, right? Can you represent the entire Wanhua Holy Land now? Or should we ask the other quasi-emperor peak powerfuls to come out? Soon, Li Bai spoke first. Lin Tianyi said with a calm expression and a smile. I said, I am the Holy Lord of Wanhua Holy Land, so naturally, all matters of Wanhua Holy Land can be decided by me. Although Lin Tianyi was only an early quasi-emperor, Li Teibei and others did not believe that the Wanhua Holy Land would be so destitute after the death of Emperor Murong that it would have to let an early quasi-emperor serve as the Holy Lord. Therefore, it is more likely that Emperor Murong's death had a lot to do with Lin Tianyi, or that it was Lin Tianyi who ordered someone to kill Emperor Murong. Anyway, no matter what, you still need to be careful when dealing with Lin Tianyi in front of you. Well, if that's the case, then let's go in and talk. Lei Wanyun said slowly. Then the three of them entered the Wanhua Holy Land under the leadership of Lin Tianyi. As for why they dared to enter the Wanhua Holy Land, it was because Li Teibei and others were carrying the emperor weapon of their own Holy Land. With 3 emperor weapons in hand, they didn't believe that the Wanhua Holy Land would dare to attack them. After some discussion, the 4 major holy places soon decided on the rewards they would offer. After all, the 4 major holy places did this to attract the interest of the geniuses of the entire profound heaven world to participate in the competition. There are only 2 ways to participate in the 4 saints competition: either you have a strong force with a quasi-emperor grade behind you, or you are a genius who has broken through to the saint realm before the age of 1,000. Only one of these 2 conditions needs to be met to participate. In the end, the top 100 people selected will be able to enter the Chaos Secret Realm. When talking about the Chaos Secret Realm, the expressions of the 4 people present were a little solemn. After all, the Chaos Secret Realm has existed the longest in the entire profound heaven world. It is said that this is the secret realm created by the first great emperor of profound heaven world, the Chaos Great Emperor, when he left profound heaven world in order to select a successor. However, it is obvious that no one has been able to inherit the Chaos Great Emperor since the Chaos Secret Realm was opened. I don't know if anyone in profound heaven world will be able to inherit the Chaos Great Emperor this time. Li Bai sighed and murmured to himself with a somewhat melancholy tone. Those who can become holy lords are all geniuses who can break through to the holy realm before the age of 1,000. Therefore, Li Teibei and others have also entered the Chaos Secret Realm, but without exception, they did not receive the inheritance of the Chaos Great Emperor. Yes, there are more and more geniuses in profound heaven world in recent years. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I always feel that something bad is going to happen soon. Lei Wanyun also sighed and frowned. In their era, there were not many people who could break through to the saint realm before the age of 1,000, but in recent years, many people have been able to break through to the great saint or even the saint king realm before the age of 1,000. So Lei Wanyun keenly sensed that perhaps something was about to happen. At this moment, Lin Tianyi smiled and said, "What bad thing can there be? More geniuses may not necessarily be a bad thing for our profound heaven world. The more geniuses there are, maybe someone can break through to become a great emperor and prove to us that the path to becoming an emperor is not broken." Hearing Lin Tianyi's words, Li Teibei and others were stunned at first, then smiled and bowed. "Fellow deist Lin is right. I am the one who is waiting for the chance. Okay, now that the competition has been decided, my Wanhua Holy Land will start releasing news to profound heaven world from tomorrow, informing profound heaven world of the Tianjiao 4 Saints competition." Seeing Lin Tianyi speak, Li Teibei and others also stood up, took out their mobile phones and posted the news of the 4 Saints competition on Weibo, which immediately caused an uproar in the entire profound heaven world. Although many people have joined the big forces, there are still quite a few people who don't know anything about the 4 Saints competition, just like the teenagers living in the countryside have never known what the Children's Palace is, or have even never heard of it, including the author. After Li Teibei and others sent out the message, the number of comments below quickly reached 99 plus, all of which were filled with shock and excitement. After all, for many independent cultivators, participating in the 4 Saints competition was obviously a good opportunity for them to become famous. What? What is the 4 Saints competition? How come I don't know anything about it? The person above, you are out of date. The 4 Saints competition is a competition for the geniuses of the profound heaven world organized by the 4 major holy places. As long as you rank in the top 100 in the 4 Saints competition, you can enter the legendary Chaos Secret Realm. Wait, what is the Chaos Secret Realm? Forget it, you should go to Baidu, you can find everything there. Soon, all the immortal cultivators on the internet knew the news and became excited. After all, it was a huge event that could affect the entire profound heaven world. I am a 500-year-old saint. Can I attend? You are inferior to me, the one above. I broke through to the saint realm when I was 300 years old. I think I should be able to get a good ranking in the Four Saints competition. You are also lame. I have already reached the peak of sainthood at the age of 150. Who else can do that? It was the Four Saints competition that directly brought out many geniuses from the profound heaven world. All of them broke through to the saint realm when they were less than 1,000 years old, which made Li Tebei and others dumbfounded. After all, according to normal circumstances, as long as one can break through to the saint realm before the age of 1000, breaking through to the supreme realm will not be a problem. Even the quasi-emperor realm can be broken through with just a little effort. Judging from the current situation tonight, at least tens of thousands of people claim that they broke through to the saint realm before they were 1,000 years old. Although some of these claims may be false, it is very likely that a large portion of them are telling the truth. I am really looking forward to the Four Saints competition in 5 years. There was a glimmer of expectation in Li Bai's eyes, but at the same time there was a hint of worry deep in his eyes, worry about the future. On the other side, after discussing the relevant matters of the Four Saints competition, Lin Shuoru also returned to the Rao Shui Holy Land. Just after Lin Shuoru came back, she saw the Great Elder walking towards her. The moment she saw the Great Elder, Lin Shuoru felt a bad feeling in her heart. Sure enough, the Great Elder couldn't help but speak the moment they met. Holy Lord, you are finally back. Go see the saint. She wants to see you now. Okay, I understand. I'll go over now. When she heard that it was indeed her daughter's problem, a trace of helplessness flashed across Lin Shuoru's brows, as if she had remembered something very bad. But after all, she was his daughter, so he could only sigh and walk towards the forbidden area of Rao Shui Holy Land. Chapter 75. When Lin Shuoru arrived at the forbidden area of Rao Shui Holy Land, she saw a small world in the forbidden area, which was opened up by Lin Shuoru. There were countless formations around the small world, which looked like it was imprisoning something. And it was obvious that the person inside the formation was Lin Zixin. Before arriving at the small world, Lin Shuoru waved her hand and removed the formation that imprisoned the small world, and then directly entered the small world. In the small world, Lin Zixin was seen sitting cross-legged and practicing in the depths of the small world. Judging from the aura of Lin Zixin, it was obvious that Lin Zixin had successfully broken through to the quasi-emperor realm. As if sensing Lin Shuoru's arrival, Lin Zixin slowly opened her eyes, looked at Lin Shuoru with eyes full of apology, but still spoke in a firm tone. Mom, I want to see Dong'er. After hearing Lin Zixin's words, Lin Shuoru frowned slightly, sighed helplessly, and said, You can't even hold out for 10 years? You should know that in order to protect your position as a saint, 10 years of imprisonment was already a very short period of time. But 10 years have passed, and Dong'er has grown up. I can't let my child's childhood be ruined by me not being by his side. Lin Zixin was filled with the radiance of maternal love and said without hesitation. But Lin Shuoru's face suddenly turned gloomy and she said in a low voice. Nonsense, Dong'er has the innate Dao fetus. He will be the one to lead our Rao Shui Holy Land to glory. And you also need to know that you can't spoil Dong'er too much. Before he turns 8, he needs to lay a good foundation so that he can start practicing and soar into the sky. It was the first time that Lin Zixin saw her mother like this. She couldn't help but smile bitterly and her thoughts returned to the past. Shortly after preparing to retreat and strive to become a quasi-emperor, Lin Zixin felt unwell. After checking, she found that she was pregnant. Originally, Lin Zixin wanted to abort the baby. After all, she was going to lead the entire Rao Shui Holy Land to a more glorious tomorrow. How could she care about such romantic matters? But just when Lin Zixin was about to abort the fetus, she hesitated. The child was innocent, and she couldn't let the child die because of her. She had to at least give the child a chance to choose. So, by some strange coincidence, Lin Zixin gave birth to the baby during the retreat. Looking at the adorable baby with his eyes closed in her arms, Lin Zixin stood there in a daze. It was the first time for her to hold a child, and it was her own child. An emotion called maternal love unknowingly filled her heart. Because she didn't know Wu Yifan's name, Lin Zixin could only let the child take her surname and named him Dong. She hoped that the child would be a lively and active person, so she named him Lin Dong. But the good times didn't last long, and soon Lin Zixin successfully reached the quasi-emperor realm. During the transcending tribulation, the movement here could no longer be suppressed. Lin Shuoru and others who came rushing over also saw Lin Dong and were immediately furious. You know, Lin Zixin is the holy maiden of the Holy Land of Rao Shui. If it were to be spread that the holy maiden of the Holy Land of Rao Shui was pregnant before marriage, it would be a disgrace to the Holy Land of Rao Shui. Therefore, after unanimous discussion by Lin Shuoru and others, it was finally decided that Lin Zixin's punishment was 10 years in prison, during which she was not allowed to meet her children. This was undoubtedly a huge torture for Lin Zixin, but there was no other way, as this was already a very light punishment. If it were any other saint, they would have been deposed long ago after such a thing happened. No matter where they are, the most important thing for powerful forces is face, and the Holy Land is no exception. However, it didn't take long for them to find out that Lin Dong's physique was the legendary innate Dao fetus holy body, the physique that was closest to the Tao in the legend. In other words, if Lin Dong started to practice, Great Emperor would definitely not be the pinnacle for him. So after discovering this, Rao Shui Holy Land secretly trained Lin Dong, trying to make it smoother for Lin Dong to start practicing. But I don't want my son to become a tool of the Holy Land of Rao Shui. Lin Zixin's eyes couldn't help but turn red. At this moment, she was no longer the saint of Rao Shui Holy Land, but a mother, an extremely pure mother. Lin Shuoru also turned her head away, feeling somewhat reluctant, but still spoke in a firm tone. Just bear with it for a while. It's only 5 years away. You'll be out in 5 years, and you'll represent our Rao Shui Holy Land to participate in the Four Saints competition. After saying that, Lin Shuoru no longer cared about Lin Zixin's reaction and left the small world. Rao Shui Holy Land is not a place where she has the final say. She also needs to consider other elders and give them face, so 10 years in prison is already the lightest punishment. After all, Lin Zixin has just broken through to the Quasi-Emperor, and she can use 10 years to calm down. Lin Zixin looked at her mother's departing back, her heart filled with guilt towards Lin Dong. My child, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I can't be with you. Wait, I'll go out to find you soon, and I'll always be by your side. But soon Lin Zixin seemed to think of something and felt melancholy. I don't know how you are doing, but you probably don't know that we have a child. If you knew, I hope you would come to my house. Forget it, let's not do it. Mother is too powerful. You are no match for her. You'd better live well. As if she had thought of something, Lin Zixin felt a surge of despair in her heart. Judging from how much her mother loved her, if Wu Yifan really appeared in front of her, then her mother would really kill Wu Yifan. Of course, unless there is a force behind Wu Yifan that can rival the Rao Shui Holy Land, but this point was rejected by Lin Zixin at the beginning. After all, if there really is a force behind Wu Yifan that can rival the Rao Shui Holy Land, then he would not be hunted down by her. On the other side, after leaving the small world, Lin Shuoru thought of something and couldn't help but sighed, then walked towards somewhere in the Holy Land and soon came to a big mountain. When they arrived at the mountain, Lin Shuoru couldn't help but smile. They soon arrived in front of a mansion, where 2 guards from the Holy King realm stood. When they saw Lin Shuoru coming, they immediately greeted her respectfully. Meet the Holy Lord. Well, how is the Holy Sun now? Lin Shuoru waved her hand and asked calmly. After knowing that Lin Dong possessed the holy body of innate Dao fetus, Lin Shuoru rejected all objections and decided that Lin Dong would become the Holy Son of Rao Shui Holy Land. Holy Lord, the Holy Sun is also very quiet today, just playing by himself. One of the powerful Saint Kings quickly reported. Lin Shuoru nodded and walked in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.